Hello, everyone. Hello. Wow, we have a great group that's waiting for us. We're excited about this episode too, guys. That is exactly why we're here, and we are going to be reviewing it, which is going to be Ready to Love Miami, episode number 9. This is my live panel review, and you probably have seen these faces floating around YouTube, but I am so blessed and grateful and honored to have them here with me tonight. So thank you for everyone that's joining us, that's going to join us later if you watch the replay. Shout out to all my soulmates that's in the chat. Love you guys so much. Yes, just to let you know, Tyrone is not with us. He is out of town. Go to his Instagram and you could definitely see exactly where he's at and what he's doing, and he is living his best life. And yeah, so everyone knows I like to jump right into it, and I want everybody that is on my panel to just go around, introduce yourselves, and let everybody know where they can find you. Let's start with you, Gus.
Hey, I'm Gustavo Victor Carr. You can call me Gus like Sabrina just did. That's my Instagram handle and my TikTok as well. And I am just a fan of the show and started doing a little discussion with it with Jamie Alexander, who's not on tonight, but who has been on here before, starting with Sabrina season. And that's how we connected. And it's always a pleasure to be here and have these conversations with you.
Thank you. I am.
Hey guys, I am the single one. You can find me on YouTube reviewing the show. I am a super fan, and I'm also on Instagram. I am the single one.
Mr. Mita Joe.
Hi, I'm Mr. Mita Joe. I started reviewing the show on Sabrina's season as well, and PO. And so you can find me on Instagram at by Demita Joe, or you can go to my YouTube channel, Mr. Mita
Joe. Good evening. I am PO season 5 or 6 or whatever, however you look at the catalog. So I'm here. I'm on Instagram at 100 sightings. We're gonna have to make this review spark for these people because they want us done. They say get into it.
What do you mean? Oh, let's get into it. Let's start there. What do you mean they want us done?
No, they want us. They want us done with the opening and to get right into the.
Okay. Because I'm like, hold on.
No, they don't want to. They don't want us done. No.
All right. Oh no, it's getting good. It's getting good, and it's to the point now where I feel like we're just all one big family at this point. And I feel like because of the show, we're all connected in one way or another. And I think that it's an amazing thing because a lot of us have come together because of this show, So let's just go around real quick, brief. Let's leave it at a 2-minute mark. Let's go around. I want you guys to let everybody know, and I want to know where are you guys at with this show? How do you feel about this show so far? Not everybody at once.
I'm on better terms with it right now than I have been in the past few episodes. This one felt a little more juicy. It felt a little more personable. I got to see people a little more clearly. They were more open, less walls up. And I also changed opinions on people a little bit in the process of learning the evolution of how people are and spending more time getting to know them. But to me, it was probably the best episode this season. And I kind of wish it had this energy the whole season, right? Because they're showing us right now they were completely capable of that. And, I'm never going to blame the people on the show. I'm not going to blame production, but it could be a combination or one or the other. Who knows? But it was so far. And now I'm really looking forward to the next one because they definitely are trying to ramp up the drama, and I'm enjoying it.
I'm totally with Gus. This was my favorite episode so far. The dinner scene was my favorite scene so far. And so all week I was just really, really excited to get to, this is the Getaway episode. So I think we all as a fan base were excited to get to it. It did not disappoint. I was very happy to see that the viewership finally fell in love with Swayze and Kadian, which I did back at the white party. So everybody's on board now. So I thought that was cool too.
I'm still a fan. I thought this episode was decent. I thought it was better than the rest. But I still was kind of left wanting a little bit more of the footage because I felt like some parts were chopped up, and then it left me wondering. Well, I wonder what else happened right there. So
Yeah, so I'm with Gus on this. I will say this though. Based, it seems like they're moving into a newer type of format, and I can guarantee you, I promise you, that there was a lot more substance. There was a lot more going on than what we saw. It seems like based off of the way that they've done our season, that it's following that same sort of flow, that pattern.
Yep.
So yeah, I think there's a lot more juice, and they're just trying to cram it and save it all till the end, and then there's going to be some more to come. But mark my words, there's definitely a lot more than what we saw, and I think this episode here was giving that. The other episodes, I think, was a big state of confusion. So.
Yeah, agreed. I actually agree with all of you. And I'm just to the point where I'm starting to feel a little disappointed because, it's reminding me of that movie that you watch. And it's like the last 15 minutes gets so good. And then like 30 seconds before it ends, you're like, oh, shoot, it's about to go off in 30 seconds. And then it goes off. And you're like, wait a minute, I have so many questions. That's how I feel that how this season is.
Yeah.
It's just an unfortunate thing because it's this episode. And then after that, it's only one episode. The last 2 episodes, it's only 12. Then the last 2 is the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see how the ratings went. If people actually held on this long to get to this place of where we're now starting to really, find the flow and the energy. I'm wondering if that's working for them. This system of waiting till the end. Does anybody know the numbers by chance? Are they keeping up or?
So from my understanding, this is the highest rated show on the network at the moment.
really,
But from my understanding, DC was the highest rated out of all the seasons.
Right.
Mhm.
I can see that.
Shout out to DC.
Right.
Wait, I gotta look and see what other shows are on there.
They have the Bell
Partnering
Collection.
on it. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think though one thing that they're gonna have to do before they ruin this franchise is they're gonna have to start changing up the format, stop with the predictability, the curveballs, things like that. Let's just get back to the basics. Let's talk about true connections. Yeah, there's going to be natural drama that occurs. We don't have to, contrive certain scenarios and things like that. I think if they get rid of the writers and really get back just to true, connections and things like that, it will move. But outside of that, I think, there's a potential to ruin the franchise.
Agreed.
Mm.
I wonder if they think people are dumb. Because
That,
They-
yeah,
I think
that
so.
right there.
we're not entertained.
Yeah.
There's no substance. I care to. I feel like maybe in the past, maybe 2015 and before, it would have been enough. But
Right.
something shifted consciously, evolutionary. Something that a lot of the negative things have really shifted people into more of an awareness, understanding, in my opinion. And I think that's why a lot of people just aren't buying the mediocre, boring, produced storylines anymore. And especially after everyone going through such deep times and an awareness being so open,
Right.
that it's I want more. People are seeking more. They want genuine depth and relatability, not surface things that used to be entertaining for so very long. So we talked about this last season, Sabrina. I think that they really need to step it up because that's what people really want,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think really what it is though is you have these writers and they're trying to slot people in these sort of roles. They bait them with the confessions and things like that. So they have the whole kind of story sold at the very beginning. Excuse me, at the very beginning, and then they try to make it happen as close as to that story writing as possible. And that's where we're getting, well, I'm confused. How could this happen? How could they have these connections? I've never heard of this person. Now all of a sudden they're there. well, they're, it seems like they're doing more on the production. They're producing these stories,
Yeah.
and then they're sort of backing them up with confessionals. Like one of the confessionals I saw was Samson, and he had his goatee in a confessional, but he had his beard during that whole episode in the very beginning. So they went back and they said,
Yeah.
"Hey, we need you to fill in these blanks," because they wanted to tell that particular story a little better.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yep. Those are called pickup interviews. FYI.
right, yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And go ahead, Denise.
Yeah.
My fault.
I declined my pickup interviews, by the way.
Did you?
I sure
Love
did.
that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I went back. I went back and did. It was crazy because the show we had finished filming, and I want to say almost a month and a half later, after they reviewed everything, I went back and did pickup interviews. It was like a month and a half later. It was to the
Right.
point where I was like, I don't even remember. I was like, I
Right.
don't.
And
But
that's the part where they ask you a whole bunch of questions about specific scenes, right?
Right.
I think what it is how it happens, and not to give too much because Own knows I love them and Own loves me. So I'm trying to keep a great reputation with them. But to be honest with you, I think what happens is they do try to build a story. So say for
Right.
instance, this is just for example, guys, this is not real. Say for instance, they thought Walter and I was going to have a connection, but me and Corey ended up having the strongest connection, and we ended up going towards the end. So what happened is during the editing process, they're thinking, oh shoot, she was supposed to end with Walter and she didn't. She ended up with Corey. So now Sabrina has to come back. So all those interviews that she talked about Walter are irrelevant. Now she needs to come back, do pickup interviews so it can make sense why her and Corey got together. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
that's real.
it's post-production. It's they have to fix things before they release
Yeah.
it. It's in the reality
Yeah.
world. The reality world learned it from the scripted world. It's it's a process and it's a system that is outdated, is what I was essentially trying to say. And it's time to update things. We're ready for update.
For sure.
I mean, 'cause those storylines drive people's perceptions. People that don't think about, the fact that there's a whole bunch of other footage that was filmed.
Yes.
What we're seeing on TV, hey, you're drawing your opinion, but like people be all out mad at some of these
Right.
people because of the way that they portray it. Like I watched, I think April did an interview and she was saying how none of it went like none of her that part where she went to go sit down with Kayla went like that. And it was like the way she explained it, they really just did her dirty kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I could tell you from personal experience because I think for me, like when I was filming, I probably went on, or not probably, I know 100% sure I went on way more dates than anybody else on that show, and they were using parts of my confessional to
From
support
those days.
other
That was
support other
not even
things.
showed. Oh
Right.
my gosh.
Yeah. So I was like, what? I'm like, I mean, now you, of course, they're your words, it's your face. You said that. But
Right.
did you say that in that context? Did you say that in that setting? Did you say that and said that towards that person?
Person.
Or was this something else? Yeah. So,
Mm.
and they're pretty good. They're good with it because, that's what they do. They're the
Yeah.
machine that they're the machine that creates the whole story, and and they show it and you believe it. So
Yeah.
See, but now I'm
Yeah.
like confused because okay, this I've been watching the whole time since Ready to Love came out, and I remember the very first season I fell in love with it. I was like, this is bomb. So now I'm thinking back because I wasn't thinking like this then, as far as like what are they doing on the back end. But I'm like now I want to go back and watch like what was it the same? Were they doing these things to them too?
well, and so I'll tell you, I know that the very very first Atlanta one, that one probably was the thing to figure it out first, but
Okay.
it was so raw and so real, and then it started this. We didn't start really seeing the scripting or the steering until DC. And now I'm sure that there were some elements of that of the steering wheel in Houston. The last one was the season 4 or 3 or whatever, the last Houston one. But it wasn't as like rough, especially like as my season was. Ugh, that was rough, right? And you know, and I'll tell you this, and Sabrina, you know about this. There's this part before they drop the season where you sit down with the media and they asked you this question, like,
Mhm.
you know, so how do you feel about who you know, how you'll be represented, and do you feel like it'll, you know, fit true to who you are? And I'm sitting there like, absolutely, because I'm thinking, you know, I did exactly what I would do in the real world.
Yeah.
And so I was like totally comfortable. And then when I saw that guy on TV, I was like, I don't know who the hell that is. So
I was like,
you
get
know,
out of here.
right. Yeah, no doubt about it. So I mean, you know, it does. You know, they do the 360 on you, and you know, people. It looks so natural. You just don't know.
Mhm.
And y'all be just as shocked as we are.
Mhm. No, and that's facts, but I had a different experience. The only thing for me that I can say is they showed a lot of scenes with me where I was kind of like snooty. Of course, I'm snooty. I can be snooty. I can be sarcastic. I can be funny. I can be emotional. I can be, you know, I can be a lot of things, but they showed a lot of snooty scenes that I had. And people thought like I was stuck up or I was better. I'm just like, I'm the most down to earth. I was like, I don't even like snooty people. But that's how, you know, they made me come off. And I'm just like, wow, they didn't show any of my vulnerable moments. They didn't show any of the moments where I was talking about the women and how beautiful they were and how I was uplifting them and, you know, just talking positive about the cast. And like, they didn't show any of that stuff. They didn't show any of the stuff that was dear to me and close to me and about my past and what led me up to that point and why I even got on the show. I mean, it was just so much that you guys would have known a lot more about me if they had, you know, put it on there, but they didn't. So, you know, but at the end of the day, I'm just like, it is what it is. Like, you just, if they showed you in a negative light, regardless of the fact, I feel like if it's a situation where, you know, afterwards, if you have to do damage control, if you're like, look, y'all, like, I need everyone to understand exactly like who I am as a person. I understand you saw this on the show, but some people came out like guns blazing. They like, that's what, I don't care. And they came out with even more of a negative attitude. And we're like, so this is the real you, and this is actually way worse than what we saw on TV. So, I mean, you know, some people just can't handle it. But you know, it is what it is. Just try to move past it and just try to make it what it is. And the people that I do talk to that's on the show that I'm actually cool with, you know, I have to let them know, and I keep reminding them, like, we are so much bigger than this show. Like, don't lose focus. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, but anyway,
someone else's narrative.
Say it again.
You can't lose yourself in someone else's narrative. They could have never shown all those moments because then they wouldn't have been able to write you accordingly. And I'm going to say it like I always say it. You always say these like, you're like, and I'm like, I loved you from the jump. I don't care. I don't know if it was snooty or whatever it was. I fucked with, I liked your energy. Sorry. I know you gave me that warning because you were like, Gus is the potty mouth one. But, and
it's okay to do that, and I appreciate
that. That will hinder the way that they are able to write you and move and finagle around. And you're right, people they can really show their true colors in afterward too, and it's enlightening to say the least. And look, disclaimer. That's why when Jamie and I did the show, we always have disclaimers like, look, we are not judging these people because we don't know them. We are talking about what
exactly.
You know, and I think that's important. We're all human. We got to support each other, help each other, move past that. Don't need to like you. You don't need to like me. But like this channel is about us just talking about the episode and what we perceive from what we are vision of watching it.
No doubt.
Say it louder for the people in the back, guys, because people are really mad at me.
You probably shouldn't be watching TV well because you're too sensitive.
Honey, I still got people talking trash about me from seasons, like from me doing the reviews, and I'm just like, you know, this is just a review, right? Like, I don't know you in real life. And I'm talking about these people see me in real life and they be just gritting on me. And I be laughing on the inside. Just be like, is this lady really upset? Like, what the hell?
I didn't like PO on your season, and I was like, I don't like, and they portrayed it really well. And I've known him for about 10 minutes, however long we've been on here. I'm like, oh my God, that's not
no doubt.
Energy.
Who you saw exactly.
Well, I was right about what they wanted me to perceive him as, but
no doubt.
And the authentic self is absolutely something different. He seems like a really freaking cool guy.
He is, and I've actually hung out with him before.
Right?
He
yeah,
really
no
is
doubt.
a cool guy.
I felt
it's
the
crazy.
same way because I was like, oh my goodness, who's this guy? The first episode, I was like, oh, who is this? No, not that he probably gonna make it to the end. But
they murdered.
Yeah,
they murdered me on that, and they took one thing. They actually, you know what happened with the delivery thing was really just like an inside joke sort of thing, and they took that and they ran with that. They was like, oh, we got this. Okay. Delivery man. So whatever.
I started calling you Cat Daddy PO and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no doubt about it.
But I changed my perception because I was like, okay, he's cool. He's cool.
Yeah, no doubt.
And what was so great? What was so great about PO is that he was going live. And so the viewers who were following him, we got a chance to get to know him for real as the season was airing. So almost all of our opinions changed because we had that access. And so I think that's smart, for any cast member, to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they told me, they were like, yeah, stop going live. I said, okay, that means go live even more. So, that's what I did.
Rebel.
Yes.
Now everybody knows you because we all know that you deliver.
No doubt. No doubt.
All right. Does anybody have any closing comments before we get started? Because we are 22 minutes in.
Yeah, they want us to start. Let's start it out.
Yeah. All right, guys. All right. So let me go ahead and do this. Normally I start my, but since we are already here, just do this quick little photo while I read this. All right. So this is the Getaway episode, and this is where I feel where people's real feelings are going to be exposed. And unfortunately, during this trip, LJ is not present because he had to work. Tommy enters. Kayla tells Tommy that LJ is not there, and Shanika looks so disappointed and sad because he is not. Tommy says that is a red flag to him because because of course LJ was at a conference and Tommy was like, well, it's a whole love conference we got going on right here. And Mike did say on his green screen, he says, everybody pretty much showed up for their connections, and it's unfortunate that LJ didn't. Tommy tells him that this trip was for a purpose, and to ask themselves, do they see themselves with someone to share infinite tomorrows with or is it just for a weekend thing? And of course, it flashes over to Jamala where Jamala has that face. And I have that screenshot. And of course, the power to eliminate is back in the lady's hand. And in the morning, one man is going home, the lady's hand. All right. Who would like to start with this this introduction to them going at the house or coming to the house, them running for their rooms? First of all, I want to start with PO. How was it real quick with you when y'all had y'all's trip? Like, how was it?
Yeah, when we had ours, I told Clifton, because they lined us up outside. And I told Clifton, I said, man, text me and let me know where the good rooms is. And so when we came up in there, Clifton, and Joy, ran and copped their room. And I think the Kia was second. She got hers. And then I grabbed the small little mansion to myself. So, it was like everybody was scrambling, looking for the best spot to pull up. But I will say something about this particular scene. One thing that I did think about when LJ didn't show up. So this was a part of the season, and a lot of you folks may not know this, but this is a part of the season where, you're worn down. Like for me, I was like, I just want to go home. So he may have, it seems like he may be in that space where he's no longer prioritizing, the show itself, because I mean, there's strenuous hours. You're filming all day long, and he might be over it. So the conference deal may be legit, maybe not. But I could see him, given the fact that his whole package unraveled with his ex. I could see him kind of being in checkout mode, or probably had some feedback that just made him want to say, you know what, it don't matter, and I don't want to be under the same roof, catching all that heat from all these ladies, and that sort of thing unraveling on camera. So I could see him maybe even just sort of backing out for that. And if that's not the case, Tommy coming in saying that you're prioritizing your job over love. Well, duh. So I mean that's my take on it.
I have an issue with that, though.
Mm-hmm.
I have an issue with him not showing up then for the people that he thought he had a connection with. I mean, look, I understand it's genuine and it's in a process, but that's what you sign up for. And poor Shanika was looking forward to him being there. And I mean, look, like I said, all I'm talking about is what I see on the show. And from what I saw on the show, it doesn't look like he had the decency to let her know, like, I'm not feeling you enough to come, essentially, at the end of the day, if that's the truth. And then you see them have a conversation, and you see him, it feels like he's playing with her then, and he's like leading her on to believe something. And I just don't think that's fair to the women that want to get to know him. I believe in being selfish for your highest purpose, but when other people are involved, you have to be selfless. You have to understand the balance. You have to have the discernment to know when you have to show up because it's necessary for other people and not just for yourself. Or be honest, just be forthright, right?
Right. So Gus, just real quick, let me just give you a little rebuttal to that. So you do know that in order to do these scenes, you have to have the camera people ready to go and things of that nature. So when you saw his connection call him on the phone, that wasn't on the fly. So that whole thing was planned. And so I'm sure they told her, hey, why don't you call him? And we want to see this, and they caught that sort of emotion. She may have understood already before that had even taken place when they filmed it. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm sure that his connection, they're talking and texting outside of the window of the camera. So I think, that may just have been a scene to sort of help patch up the fact that he was not there. And that created dramatics. And, it gives us an opportunity to have an opinion about it.
100%. But that picture you just showed of her, Sabrina, she looked genuinely happy to be on the phone with him. So that's what we're forgetting. We're forgetting about her. And I know it's all produced. I've been in the industry for 30 years. So I know how this all works. And I also know that you have to show up when you're supposed to show up. It's really simple. You sign up for it. You're choosing to do this. And I'm disappointed in him, and it's not fair to Shanika or somebody else that might think there's something there, especially, we'll get into it later, with what Shanika's already been through. You're not taking into account her as a human being, and that's not fair. We shouldn't treat each other like that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Damita, Joe, do y'all have anything?
So I'm just going to piggyback off of the fact that, okay, I could understand that it probably was a stressful situation, and he probably was like, oh, heck no, I'm not trying to be exposed like this on TV because of how the ex-girlfriend date went. But I mean, I just feel like either you're going to say I'm out of the process or participate in the process. You know what I mean? And so he said it on the call. He was like, I make these decisions. I choose work over love. And so I don't know whether he was trying to send her a message saying, hoping that she would pick up on whatever he was put down. But he could be feeling like, if I go to this thing and all of them are in this house and they're going to film every interaction, and I don't know how they're going to play it out. I mean, I could see that. I don't think he was in the mindset to think of, let me think about her, or let me, I think he was in the mindset of self-preservation.
Well, let me say,
he's not ready for love. That's what the
well,
show is.
well, so let's talk about that part though too, because you have him, in a past episode, he's already been told on that he's still sleeping with his ex. So how much could he be involved with Shanika? I mean, it seems like his ex is on reservation. So
But so
Yeah.
what women do though, and I'm speaking for women because they're all like, that's what I was raised by, and I'm a gay
Mhm.
man, and so I can really relate to this, and I hear what men say all the time. But what you don't realize is that we give you men slides all the time. We think maybe he's just going through something. Like, we make excuses for you because we see your potential.
Right.
We let your potential slide, and it's up to the man to step up to the plate and be beyond the potential and be present and say what is fact and what is not, so that we can all move accordingly. And that's what I think ready to love is. And it's been really apparent then that he's not, especially if he's been sleeping with his ex. Like, we see
he
that,
did,
but
he also did say that he still has love or loves his ex. So I mean, I think he's pretty much telling her, without saying it. And I mean, and if someone says
but just say it. Men need to
well, he
start
did
saying
say
it.
that though.
But like, no, like, take yourself out of it. Like, say it. Be like, I'm gonna step out because there's no connections here for me. Like, have the wherewithal and the decency to be a man and be like, this isn't working for me. There's nobody here for me. I'm still actually interested in my ex a little bit. Let me see where that takes us. But thank you for the process. Like, we can do that too.
When I tried to do that, I was told, I was reminded of, signed papers. So like when I wanted to go, it was like, and I'm like, I mean, like I legit was in the middle of the date. I think the last date after the getaway with the Kia, and on that date, I eliminated myself and took the mic off, left, got in my car, and they was like, "Stop!" So
get back here.
That. Right. So I mean, that type of story could have been, or that back story could have been had or happened with them. Who knows? I mean, we just don't know.
Other people have done it. We've watched it.
Yeah, and that's what that was my energy. Like, well, other people done it, and they was like, well, not you. I guess
yeah, but
like,
you had too much of a storyline that we needed to hate you. We needed to not like you more. We needed to like keep disliking you.
Right.
That was necessary. You needed to be in that industry. With LJ, I kind of forget he's there already now as it is. So it wouldn't be such a big miss to me.
Well, but see, it is though because I'm sorry. It is though because he made the sex statement with this girl, and I think that ramped up a good enough drama for people to start to hate him. So now people are kind of like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens next.
Right.
Just go home. I mean,
right.
That's it.
Well, because I think what we're talking about is the other component to this is, these singles also have other choices outside of this situation. So sorry, that was me. Outside of this situation, we got to meet LJ's, other, potential. But, that's a thing too. So I think especially men, I find that they don't see the women on the show as their only potential options. They still have relations and dealings with other women outside of the whole experience.
Well, I think that goes both ways though. And I can tell you that, well, I'm sure that goes both ways. Maybe not as much on the women's side,
right,
as the men's side, but I'm 100% sure that that's going both ways.
But it's heavier on the men's side, and I feel it always will be. And like Gus said, that wherewithal that he speaks about, that would be fabulous, but it's not going to happen because, men, they don't naturally have that wherewithal to, cut off access to potential partners. Nobody trains that in them. So I don't, like I said in my video, as women, we have, or whoever deals with men, we have to have, we have to know that, so that we control the access that the person has to us, because they're never going to say, oh, let me just be really fair and ethical and moral and let you go. That doesn't happen.
But sometimes too.
That's why that potential word is don't.
Exactly.
Correct. But that doesn't happen with boys.
Okay.
That's boys. You know, to embody the name man, you step into manhood. That is actually holding yourself at, you know, at an esteemed level of integrity. And that's where you find the boys separate from the men. And that's why I'm not saying I am the single one. You're wrong in saying about men, but I like to, just like when I talk about women and how they are, I like to be like, if Jamie was here, she'd be able to say what I'm talking about next, but she'd be like, yeah, he does. But like, if we keep having this pre-narrative of how things are, how do we ever expect the evolution and change to be if we keep expecting the past to be existing in this present moment? And I think we are so much more capable, and we have way more potential, and we have way more opportunity than we let ourselves believe that we do. We just need to have integrity and hold ourselves at the highest caliber when it comes to love and dealing with somebody and being ready for love. Love isn't something that is light and for kids. You can think it is, but boys and girls, rightfully so, they don't know what that is. Women and men are ready for love.
Yeah, but let me say this too. Women has to listen to the man when he's talking. Now, sometimes a man may say, right. So sometimes a man will tell you that he's not interested, that he doesn't want to be with you, that he wants to go his own separate way. And sometimes women are so caught in the process of thinking like, but you're such a good person. I know that like I can see the better. Right. And so they override that and they don't hear what a man is saying. And so then the man then turns around and says, okay, well, all right, I tried. Okay, you want to be on this ride with me? Let's go.
No, but that's when you have to be a man and not go on the ride. That's when you
no, absolutely. I agree. I agree. I totally agree with you.
You call me one of them ones.
Who was talking about that before? Who was talking about the story that women weave in their head before? Because that is what we focus on potential, and like you said, we'll be like, oh, you know, you do have to listen to pick up what he's putting down, because you cannot make up, you know, it has to be straight facts. Like, don't go with what your woman brain thinks. Don't do that. And then, because men do not want to hurt our feelings. They don't want to come out and be like, nah, I don't like you like that. You have to literally read between the lines of what's going on. You can't just be like, oh, well, he did say good morning back when I texted him.
But it's so many of us that's so pressed to be in fake love. Yeah. And we really don't know what love is. And I'm going to tell you something. It took me a long time to get to that place. I dated off of potential probably for like the last 10 years up until about 4 years ago, 3 years ago. And once I realized how exhausting dating someone's potential was, I was like, wait a minute, I think I'm tired now. And then that's what I, realized, wait a minute, I need to change some things. I'm so busy looking at them and what they're doing wrong and what he said and what he not doing and what he did. Like, wait a minute, let me turn this around. What am I doing wrong? What do I keep allowing? Maybe I need to check myself. And that's exactly what I did. And actually that happened with my last relationship, which was 2 years prior to me coming on the show. That's why when I came on the show, I knew exactly what I wanted. I knew exactly how it needed to be. And that's exactly why it ended the way that it ended for me, because I was at that time, I was in that space and at that place in my life where I knew exactly what I wanted, and I was not going to settle for anything less. Period. Point blank.
You can tell too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. That's why I loved you so much.
From beginning to end, to the epic end on the bridge.
Yeah.
Loved it.
100%.
Yeah. But that's why I always say, okay, do not date potential. Potential has nothing to do with me. That's because if you don't recognize your potential, then what am I over here talking about your potential for? You know what I mean?
If you don't know your own worth, you're going to think potential's enough.
Facts.
It's really about you understanding yourself and what you're worth, because then you won't lead yourself down that path of this uncertainty and these questions of what could and couldn't be. It's what Sabrina just said. She came to the place of being like, you know what? I know my worth. And people, it's not an egotistical thing. It's actually based in humility. It's in the sense of being like, I don't deserve to be being hurt like this. Let me take a look at myself and figure out why I keep attracting this then, and why this is present in my life, and why I'm allowing it. And then from there becomes the strength. And you're like, I know my worth now, and we can move accordingly. And unfortunately, not everybody on this show, which we're talking about, is really done that. And that's why it's hard when you're like, the show's called Ready to Love. And I get we need to understand that and see that. It's a beautiful thing to see the people that aren't and the people that are. But I think we could, like I've said a million times, we see on so many other platforms the people that aren't continuously. Can't we just have something that actually shows the people who really are ready? The consciousness, we're going to get that. We're going to evolve. We're going to need to understand it. We need to see, blah, blah, blah. Great. It's everywhere else to see. Let's see some good things. Let's help people find their discernment, their right state of mind, their worth, and have that be received so we can really start to feel this love in this show, which is what it's about.
But a quick question. Do you think that this show is designed for lovers to create loving, long-lasting relationships? Because the components that would create that are not there. It's not there. And it is a simple by chance situation more so than by design.
I think both. Because I think in life, you're not always given the correct design to actually find and fulfill the legacy of what love is. And you still got to find a way. You can still make the way you really want it. So I think it's about both of them. And that's exactly what it is. Are you really going to push past it and be here for what love is?
Yeah, but then you have that one element in there when you say, hey, it's not here for me. And then they're like, you got to keep trying. And you're like, nah, it's not here.
Yeah. 100%. So I get that. That it's a TV show at the end of the day.
Yeah, right.
I just wish the TV show was based on the desire to actually showcase love more than it is chaos.
Yeah. Because I was clueless. I'm gonna keep it 100. I was clueless prior to me coming on the show. I think I watched like a couple of episodes of season 1, and I had not watched it again until they were like, "We want you to be on the show," and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so amazing!" I was like, "I really find my husband." Me and my daughter were having conversations. She was like, "Mommy, you might find the one." I was like, "Oh my god, baby, put it in the universe. Put it in the universe." Honey, after I watched those seasons, I was like, what the hell did I just sign up for? I was like, I don't know.
And it was you got season 1 roped you in.
Hook. What is it?
And it still has the potential to be good. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I really thought I was like, I could really meet my husband on this show. Because obviously these men want the same thing that I want. I didn't think I was so naive and oblivious. I'm gonna keep it 100. I was so naive. If I didn't I felt some type of way once I realized it was BS, and I had this whole conversation with my 8-year-old daughter, and we were both really excited. And then to realize dang, I wish I wouldn't have had that conversation. It was kind of like introducing her to a boy that wasn't going to work out, and then I introduced him to my daughter, and now I feel some type of way. That's how I felt when I told her about the show. So we were so excited.
I feel that.
Yeah.
That's
anyway. Does anybody have anything else to say about this first scene?
No, they've already been in the comments we don't care about LJ, move on. So
I know.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to get to the comments. Okay, so the very next episode, we do have Mike, Katie, and Brandy and Kayla. They are having a conversation on the couch. And this is where Katie, and yes, she does get messy again. And she says that Brandy is the wife and Kayla is the hot chick in the office. Katie says that this is the time for her to dig deeper into Mike and find out exactly where his connections lay, which is weird to me because Katie does not have a connection with Mike. So I just thought why was she the designated finder outer about the connections for Mike? I don't know. She says that men can say one thing and then do another, and or when you're with them, and she's like, girl power. And Mike comments pretty much saying that Katie is just a thorn in his arse. Kayla says that it seems real. It only seems real when they are just together. And Kayla feels like that Mike isn't ready to be honest. And go.
Right.
Hashtag
Oh.
ready to be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
This is a perfect
But-
example of not paying attention to what the dude is showing
Mhm.
because
Facts.
to me, she has the answer. She actually said it. He doesn't acknowledge you like he acknowledges Brandy. So there you have it.
So, I feel like this. If you have two people that you're interested in and they're sitting amongst each other, as a man, just in general, you want to try to separate that a little bit, especially in this particular process. Like, this is very abstract. Like, there's never been a time for me anyway where I sat at the bar with two women that, I wanted to date or, were potential people for me to date. So in this moment, as a man, you're like, damn, like I really got to say this in front of her after I said this, because I do feel this way about this one, but this one, it's like, it's probably one of the worst situations to have to be in. But ultimately, I think you have to render it down. Now, he knows if he commits and says the things that he says to Kayla in that moment, then that cuts out everybody else that could be his potential. So I think he's just on the fence right now, and he's just trying to really, finalize that decision. And I think we'll start to see that as we go through the next couple of days on this Getaway.
I agree. He was trying to keep his options open and keep his
Right.
access open, which is very, very typical and common.
Boyish.
Yeah.
And
But I
that
mean,
too. 100%.
So if he says, Gus, if he says to Kayla, you know what? Yeah. And then goes and says that, everybody else checks out. But he may still see something in these other women that Kayla does not bring to the table, that he wants to tap in and get to know more about before he commits fully. So I think that you have to almost, show, it's kind of like, you want to show that both parties that you're interested, but at the same time, you don't want to say I'm 100% sold, because if you're not, and you give that up and you find out that she has that whatever it is that he's looking for, well, then he misses out, and now he's stuck with somebody that he doesn't really mesh well with overall. But that's the process.
But where are they in the process? Like, how long has it been since they've all been dating and getting to know each other at this point?
So think about this, though. Well, I think they've been dating.
I think
for
about
a
9
little
weeks,
while.
someone said.
This is around like 6 weeks.
Oh,
It's
6
about
weeks.
6. Yeah.
So I hear you on that. 6 weeks is still pretty early. I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair though, like the people that I know personally were ready for love, they knew a lot quicker than 6 weeks. They were able to be like, they were able to identify what worked for them and what they wanted. They were a lot more clear and ready to receive what was right for them. So I get that they're human and they're still going through the process and trying to figure it out, for sure.
Yeah. And then also too, I mean, in the real world, you're talking like, in 6 weeks, you actually get to date somebody, court them, take them out one-on-one. So the show asks that you don't do that because you're filming and things like that. So you really have to just wait for those particular moments to tie that in. And so if you don't get the dates that you want, then you're without. So there's still that void, that loss, that, those gaps that has to be filled in. So,
but question, is there somebody though, like that, like you think about wanting that connection, you think about when you wake up or when you're going to sleep, you're excited to get to know, that outweighs the other perspectives or the prospects, I mean?
Yeah, but then, then that opens up the table for drama. So I think if he says that, if he
Which is
voices
what we
that,
want in the show, right?
well, yeah,
So,
of course we want that, but I'm sure that, he doesn't want that. That's probably setting himself up for a disaster, because by him doing that, he may lose both, because the other one will say something like, kind of like how, me and Carmen was last season. Well, did you know that when I talked to him, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh, for real? What? And then, now it's this back and forth.
But I mean, what's the problem with standing with that though, and standing around, be like, yeah, okay.
Well, you can, you can, but then, I mean, yeah, you can
It just
do
gives
that.
the other
You can-
woman an opportunity then to put her focus onto something else. I think what I'm trying to say. It's like, I mean, I would personally be like, great, you know what? You work and cultivate on that. You seem to be interested. Figure that out. I'm gonna go figure some other things out. If we land back together, cool. I mean, it's just an honest conversation. I think it's pretty simple. I could be naive.
Yeah, it's a little rough though when you're in that element, when you're in that environment, because you're really trying to tap into the people that maybe you didn't really have a connection with, and you want to make sure that you're counting those off the list. So at the end of the day, there's a lot more like moving parts, I think, behind the scenes. And so for us, when we see it as viewers, it's very simplistic. The way that it comes out is like, oh, well, you see this, you see that, boom, it should be like that. But you don't see the other there. I'm sure that there's probably another connection somewhere there that we're not seeing. A
But I
totally
mean-
different one.
But I mean, the alternative to telling her straight out is now he's sitting there on the couch watching her go through this awkward moment of the woman that is not confused about how he feels about her, and her and this busybody in the middle instigating everything, to the point where Kayla had to get up and walk away. And I feel like
Correct.
Mike was enjoying the whole thing. You know what I mean? But I mean,
Correct.
like, if you're confused as a woman, then that's the answer. You shouldn't be
Yeah.
confused. You know what I mean? And that's where I felt like she was at right there. I feel like it slapped her in the face right there. She was like, okay, let me get out of here.
Yeah,
And
no
those
doubt.
moments are bound to happen. That's a part of it. A part of it is
Yeah,
getting
for
hurt.
sure. Yeah,
it's-
You
yeah.
gotta be willing to
But
take that
it's
risk.
at least, yeah, exactly. But at least we can, treat each other with some respect enough to just dampen the hurt meter to a little bit lower than a scale than like the very top of like, I'm fucked for life. I'm
Right.
hurt for life. Sorry.
Right. No, no doubt. No doubt about it. I think, everybody has the ability to do that. Some people just don't want to be the POS for doing it,
Mhm.
So it's,
I think I understand what you're saying. P.O., I
Yeah.
completely understand what you're saying, but it sounds like you're so concerned about so many other things as opposed to like what being honest and vulnerable would actually just cut to the chase and really just allow healing and process and the ability
Right.
for everyone to move forward. I think
Yeah,
that's
but-
where the discrepancy is. And that's just the truth of it though. That really is. It's
But
really
in
that
the man's
simple.
mind, they think
I
they
agree.
planned out the whole
In the boy's mind. In the boy's mind.
No, I agree. I agree with what
I
Gus
must
is
have been
saying.
dating all boys all my life. God dang it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
they
agree
think
with.
they know how it's gonna all play out, and so in their mind, they're like, "Okay, well, I'm not gonna say
No.
this. I'm not gonna do this. I'm just gonna." And then when the truth would really be the best thing, because I can accept
100%.
the fact that what you
Right.
say is facts, and I mean, yeah, I might be hurt, but I can respect. Okay, he
Correct.
hurt. Let me
But what I,
We need to give each other
and
more
that-
credit to understand that actually is the best thing. That
It
actually
is.
is the best thing. We can respect each other enough to really give each other that.
But think about this. You gotta remember, this is the very beginning of them being there. So I don't think that he wants to check that box for anybody yet, because they haven't gone through this whole, getaway experience. So I think as this goes on, it should start to final out. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, Brandy's final on her.
I was just gonna
Well,
say, a lot of people
Randy-
are already really, like you look at Samson and like everyone has basically picked it. And I understand that everyone's in their different space, trying to
Right.
find their clarity and find their their way
Mhm.
through this all. I just think you're giving a lot of excuses. and they're valid, but I think the less that we can stop giving each other excuses and just really just to be accountable, I think we wouldn't face such chaos in these relationships. And
Right.
it's better just to be honest and forthright, because the rest of it, that leads down a road of so much more hurt and healing that needs to be done by the other person than just a genuine great communication between two adults.
Right. I agree with that. I just think that time has to play itself out. I think that those decisions will be made. I just think that it's very early in this part of the process.
Where we are.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
not for some of them, not for some of the girls.
Yeah,
They're
no,
ready,
for sure,
ready to
for sure.
go.
But
So,
I mean,
you know,
let's look at the
each their own, I guess.
let's look at the way that the world works. Women normally are the first that are ready to commit, and it takes the buy-in from the men. You know, it takes a while for men to catch up and say, you know what, I do have somebody that is valuable that I don't want to lose, and things like that. So, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't expect it any other way.
Well, it's what you said earlier, though. It's like that's why they still hold on when you're not being direct, because they know that men sometimes are actually more sensitive and lack the vulnerability that women have to offer.
No doubt.
Gay men as well. So trust me, I deal with this all the time. Okay, so I get it. But that's why it's just really important to be present and be authentic and be genuine and be forthright, because or else then you're allowing these women to create these narratives. You're allowing them to go down to this darker place. They already innately feel more because you're not taking responsibility for really what you're trying to communicate.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything else to say about this scene?
I need a drink of wine.
Well, Sabrina, what did you say?
Say it again.
What did you say about the scene?
I thought one that sometimes, so Katie and I have a love-hate relationship with her. But one thing I love about her is that she's kept it all the way 100 throughout the whole show, regardless of how you feel about her. You can't say you don't know what her motive is. You can't say you don't know she's got a hidden agenda. You can't say she's shady. I don't know how she really feeling, what she really mean. You can't say that about Katie. And you know exactly what she's saying. You know exactly how she feeling. You know exactly where she coming from, regardless if you like it or you don't like it. Period.
Except you told Charisse that she wanted to be her friend.
Right. True.
Yeah.
True.
Except for that part. And that part,
you're right on that, though. You're right on that. So is she really? Is she really?
I think she's been herself. I mean, we know.
No, but I mean, like, she's still, correct. Do you know what I mean?
So even though she sent her that fake text, just like she says that she's just going to continue to be fake, she said it. The fact that she said, I'm here with Charisse, I really don't like her, so I'm going to continue to be fake. She said it. When was the last time you heard a woman say, yeah, I'm gonna just keep on national TV so for everybody to see that she being fake? Like,
what's the point, though? What's the point of being fake, though? Who is that serving?
You're absolutely right.
Nobody.
I get it.
I know you do. I know you do. I know you do.
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna say exactly how I feel about you. If I don't like you, I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna sit and act and be fake. And if I don't like you, to be honest with you, I'm not even gonna speak to you. I'm not gonna acknowledge you because you don't exist to me. So I don't really acknowledge people that are irrelevant or someone I've already thrown away in the trash. Anyway, but I love Katie, and I think, like she said what she said. I appreciated that she said what she had to say about Mike in front of Kayla and Brandy, because I felt like, in a sense, her and Brandy might have had a side conversation, because Brandy kind of was sitting there like, and Kayla got up and walked off, and she was like, I'm not going to sit here and listen for this. Like, she was out. Kayla was out. And then Brandy, like, at the end of the day, Katie don't have a connection with Mike. She ain't cool with Mike like that. They not friends like that.
Why she being messy?
Why she being messy? Obviously, Mike didn't know what was going on because he said that she was being a thorn in his booty. So at the end of the day, the two corporates that's left is her and Brandy, and they sitting there looking like, I mean, at the end of the day, she said girl power. I feel like when the scene cut, they gave each other a high five. And whatever it was supposed to give, it gave, because Kayla walked away mad and upset. Period.
I mean, based on her friend date too. Yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah, like that was.
I feel bad for Kayla, though. I feel like I kind of feel for her, like she seems to really want this and none of it's working out. And it's like, man, she just gets to see everybody else. She's in that space, but you were talking about PO where it's like, she can't cut out. She just kind of has to like have it be rubbed in her face at this point.
Right. Right. One thing I don't like is I don't like how Kayla is being sort of kicked around. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yeah, that's not cool.
But I do think she's learning a lot, and this is good for her. I see like this is good for her,
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I hope she's watching it back, saying, I need to, because I mean, I did that for myself after watching myself on TV. I was like, is that how I look when I say that? Or is that how I look when you know what I mean? Or is that what I say? Like I self-reflected and I was like, wow, it's some things that, because we're always growing. It's an evolution. We don't stop. Growth happens every day. I would think that it does with most of us. And, and I hope that she realizes it. I really like Kayla. She's supposed to be on the show next Monday on the panel, FYI.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully she'll be able to join us, but I really like her too. But at the end of the day, her guy ain't there. And it's 100%. Like she's trying to force him to be there and he's not. And it is what it is. And I feel like, you were way into Mike, even though you feel like Randall is what you need from what your friend's date, was. Randall is someone that you should need. But at the end of the day, I feel like you started showing Randall attention only because you realized at that very episode that Mike really ain't for you. And it probably hit her and it probably made her feel like, dang, I need to kind of get it because I'm looking stupid a little bit, So I hope that she did get hit on that episode and moving forward. I mean, hell, we only got one more episode left. He ain't obviously choosing her, but maybe in her head, she's like, guess what? I'm playing the game. I still need an extra connection. So if I got to flirt with Mike, XYZ, then that's what I'm going to do. Even though I know that he feeling Brandy more.
She going to make that paycheck. 100%.
Yeah, that paycheck is weak, by the way, but it ain't worth fighting for. Let me tell you.
I hope that he can learn and grow from this, though, in the sense of like, when she cried because she knew that she didn't want to repeat a pattern that was a turning point for her. I've been in that space, and I've seen many people in that space, and that's a turning point. And usually, from that turning point, you can then really let in what you genuinely want. You just had to get out of your own way. So I feel like someone like her, if she chooses to grow and evolve from this, like you said, Sabrina, I think that's the only one thing that is constant in this lifetime. If you're aware of it, is growth. Then I think like after this show, she's that person that everyone, after the show, they find somebody because she got to really sort through the things that didn't work and find clarity at the end of the day, I hope.
I agree. And I think I'd be interested to see what happens with she and Randall after the show, because if you think about it, each of their friends picked them for each other. And a lot of people post show, they have a better kind of, environment away from the show to kind of get to know each other without cameras around, without the pressure of the whole situation, and get to know each other. So I'd be interested to see what happens with them after.
All right.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts on that episode. So FYI, Miss Pretty Amazing says, do you guys make more money from making it to the end? Because that seems like people's goals. Let me tell you something. Just like P.O. said, even if you make it to the end and you get that check, it's still not
facts.
Like what y'all think. Like, stop it. Like,
I lost.
People was like, I gotta go to work. I feel LJ. Like, you still have to, like, just because you win $1,000 lottery ticket, don't mean like you can take off work for 6 months. No,
exactly. Yeah, I lost more money during the show than I would have ever made. Like,
me too. Yeah, because I was
it's reality TV. People need to realize that it's not a real acting gig where you make coin. This is you don't get paid well in reality TV at all. I think like on Big Brother, you get if you make it to like I don't know, just the money is not great. And for people like you who are actual working professionals in the real world, you're not getting paid what you need to make. So,
No.
but yes, of course they're going to make more money if they get to the end because they stayed longer because they accumulated more. But the more is nothing to be, I would think, incentivized by.
Yeah, it's not like a bonus check. Like, hey, you made it to the end, you get a couple extra grand.
Right, like, and y'all are couples, you get an extra 10,000.
Yeah, you made the show look good. You get a bonus. No, they don't do that. Unfortunately.
Yeah. No, God. I wish, you know, and ever since I started reviewing the show and I'm on YouTube and I'm speaking about it, let me tell y'all something. My mouth, I do have a potty mouth. It be so many things I be wanting to tell y'all and I be wanting to say.
Go ahead, Sabrina. This is a safe space. We are here. Sabrina, we want you to understand that you can talk to us.
Because y'all not gonna mess up my bag now. Oh my God, if y'all only knew in real life. Okay. So we're gonna move forward with that. Oh my God. So after taking some shots in the kitchen, Randall and Jamala head to the room, and Jamala brings up to Randall that Kayla has the biggest bedroom, and asks Randall, did he know that? And he was like, no, I ain't know that. And he was like, should I go check it out? Jamala was like, well, do you want to check it out? And Randall was like, I don't know. You act like that you making it seem like I should go check it out. And she's like, I don't know. I'm just saying. I just wanted to know if you wanted to check it out or not because you said it first. And then Randall was like, I'm trying to figure out why you even bring up her bedroom and was telling me her bedroom was the biggest bedroom. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So Jamala, so he says that right now he is absorbing energy that he doesn't need to be absorbing, and he states that this is very stressful with everyone being there at one time. So, thoughts?
I predicted that Randall's head was going to explode. When he leaned over in confessional, he said, man, why y'all got me in this house? And I said, that's it. It happened. I think, you know, for most guys, they're used to dealing with, you know, multiple women at once, but not for those women to be in communication with each other and not, you know, at the same time to be in the same space. So, but I have to admit, we're supporting Jamala this week on my channel. I have, you know, displayed this toxic trait that Jamala is displaying right now. She was in her feelings. She was projecting onto him a little bit. What was probably more infuriating for her was the fact that he saw it and he knew it. And he called her out with such clarity. And as like having been in that situation, that makes you even more upset. Like, oh, shut up.
Yeah.
She snapped.
So I'll say something.
Been there. I get it.
Yeah. So one thing that that's all right. No worries. One thing I see in that, and I won't say this about Jamala, but when I see stuff like that, those types of encounters, I look at that and I say, okay, there's insecurity. Now I'm not calling her insecure, but for me, that would be the red flag that would tell me to sort of ease up a little bit, because now it's going to be a constant thing of now I have to prove every move that I make that, you know, you're on my mind. I'm thinking about you. This is for the best thing between me and you and all of this other stuff. And I could tell that, you know, Randall was just aggravated. And I mean, you know,
he was blown.
The thing, because for me, like, you know, aggravation was set in the moment that you're trying to force me into another situation with another woman and then have to explain myself for what you're trying to create. It's like, why are you setting up this scenario to argue? Like, you want me to say, oh yeah, you know, okay, I'll go in there and check it out. And then now you want to say, well, why do you want to go check it out? Well, because you said so. So it's like, you know, it seems like that particular situation is, you know, her sort of just, you know, sometimes people can just make or just self-destruct situations. They can, you know, just tear down their own situation and not realize that they're even doing that, but it just seems like one of those things.
We usually call that she let the crazy come out.
Yeah. Well, that too. So yeah, it's unfortunate.
To hold it.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because
when you've learned from it, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
she's learning.
Right. Right. And then you have Randall that is being genuine with her. He's saying, look, you're here with me. I already told you where we're at. I was up front. I was vulnerable. I let you know what page we were on, and you're still trying to dismantle, what we're trying to start.
I think there's a duality in what you're speaking of, though, P.O., that needs to exist in the sense of if she's going to be that way, I think she gets a pass. And she's young. She's like in her 30s, so she gets a pass and he gets to step in as the man and be like, look, I can't. This he explained it and put it out. Now, if she continues to overreact like that and doesn't learn from it, there's an issue. But I don't think I've done this as a man, and I've been on the receiving side as a man. But I've been like you and been like, oh, they're crazy. I'm out. And I think we should at least give a chance to somebody because they're learning just like we are. But I've also been her. So, it's a precious time for her she's really into him. She thinks he's the one. But he's really now being like, okay, I need to be involved in the experience of what I'm here for. And you need to respect that. And it's a discrepancy that has a line that is really hard to see and find.
Right. I just think that, her sabotage or self-sabotaging the situation is not making Randall feel any better.
But I don't think if she was in with all these other people right now, it would be such a self-sabotage thing. But it's good that it's happening so she can recognize that, hopefully, and grow from that, and then not help experience that somewhere else down the line.
I don't know. I don't think it's the first time that she ever experienced that. I think that
I don't think so.
Because when you react like that as a woman, and this is just my perception as a woman, it is a turnoff to the man, and it stops you from being able to get feedback. Now, he gave her feedback in this situation, and he was on point with it. But going forward, she keeps doing that. I got him just being like, with the head nod, like, okay, all right, and then moving on or whatever. But she let her. When she did the olive juice labels, I already knew jumping out the window. And in this situation, she was just like, talking about tickling your scrotum, and I gotta watch that.
Oh yeah.
This was really, and Kayla was playing up on it too. But Kayla,
that hasn't happened yet.
Oh, sorry.
But I mean, it's fine to talk about it, but we're gonna talk about it because that part hadn't happened yet. That's when she get ready to go cook. Remember, they was in the kitchen just doing shots.
And he said they don't want to cook nothing. Okay, Sabrina, check the private chat real quick.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be right
back.
But
even like when she was like Roro, she gave him a nickname right away. I was like, okay, there's a good and bad thing about that. She's really here and she's really identifying the fact that she wants to move forward with this person, but at the same time, she's not recognizing that this scenario specifically is about her having to be open and allow him to be open to many other scenarios. So she could have definitely pressed the brakes a little bit pertaining to this experience. Now, if it was outside of this in the real world, it might be different.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Well, all I know is that she's coming back. She's coming back. I completely agree. It's just an unfortunate situation because this very scene, I know I have what she did to Randall, I've done before to men. I've done it. One, because I wanted to manipulate the situation. Two, because I was like, I need some kind of attention. Like, no, stop it. He's gonna
insecurity.
Because I was insecure. Exactly. And then too, if I said it, I wanted to see how he was gonna act. Like, is he gonna act like he likes her more, or is he gonna show he's interested? Like, I just want to see how he's gonna respond to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And those are the games that we play.
Yeah.
Those are the games that we play, unfortunately. Men do it to us and we do it to men. And it's just a cat and mouse game. That's one of the
men never do that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, never.
was gonna say we're not gonna start lying on this panel now.
This is ready to be honest.
Right.
Hashtag.
No doubt.
That's
No
the
doubt
hard
about
part,
it.
though. Like, it really is, right? Like, I mean, when you're learning, when you're trying to figure it out, you know, it's, yeah. I'm giving her grace because she's human, but I hope that she's able to, like, really not overlook the situation by me doing, by her doing that. So,
Yeah, or recognize this right now and check that from the door, because
100%.
that's gonna make for some rough relationships going forward. She'll never have happiness.
Well, you're not ready for love if you're still acting like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the thing is with Randall too, I don't think he's coming out of his outside himself by giving too much or being extra. Like, he ain't being like Playboy Express like all these some other guys and trying to be like like he's like a nice, genuine guy that is like here for it. She can't even see that, so it's like that's a lot more of her stuff than his.
Right.
And I respected that he was able to communicate to her effectively, but whether she was able to actually hear that and it affected her accordingly is to remain to be seen.
Yeah, I really like how Randall has been carrying and handling himself so far.
Yeah, he's been doing good.
Yeah, he's and I was actually surprised because his style of communication is very direct but respectful. He's very clear on how someone makes him feel. He chooses his words wisely. He doesn't say anything that's just outlandish or disrespectful or triggering or whatever. So I mean, I think he's doing what he needs to do in terms of what the show's intensive purposes are. I think that he's playing that up just like how it should be.
Well, I am gonna say this too, because I've been Jamala, I've been Kayla, I've been Kadian, I've been Brandy, I've been so I've been all.
I've been Randall. You've been the men too, Sabrina. I know you.
We're not gonna keep talking about the old stuff, but
no.
Yeah, you're right. I have been because I was that chick. I was that chick.
You sure were.
But keeping it 100, like I feel like this too, because one thing I experienced in my life, and I'm sure many of us have, is being with someone that sells dreams. I know that if I am with a man and if I acted like how she acted, it's because he sold some dreams. I'm not gonna say he sold them all, but he sold a couple, and I bought them joints.
Or he at least presented them, whether he sold them or not, but he at least presented them.
Something was presented. Correct. Like, because one thing about me is like I know, like, if I like somebody, cool. If I have options, I get it. But if it's somebody that I really, really like, and they telling me the right things, and they saying the right things, and they having me think like we about to, solidify this, we about to be together, and then you talking about you about to go see her room because it's bigger. Like, do what?
But I mean, she steered him there. He didn't, on his own will, say, "Hey, I want to go see her big ass room." She said,
well, to be fair, though, Randall's been picking up on red flags a little bit from her, though. And so I think that's why in this episode, we're seeing him be more open to other connections. Like we've seen throughout the season so far, he's kind of been like, he's been noticing the red flags being put down, and it's made him open.
God. Honey, that picture I just put up, I wanted to say it. This at this very moment, Randall realizes that Jamala is not the one.
Yeah, he's like
100%.
He's like, really?
100%.
This is what I got to deal with. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I feel you, bro. I feel you.
Right.
Shit, I've been both of them. I feel both of them. I understand exactly what that's like.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Does anybody have anything else to say about this episode with Jamala and Randall and the big bedroom?
Have we gotten to Shanika and Randall yet? Is that part of this or not? No.
Yes, of course. All right. So moving forward, Samson and Brandy lay and talk, and pretty much they lay down. It's small talk, and then all of a sudden it's literally crickets. I couldn't even finish Ghostbusters.
I was like,
right. Like, did you hear the crickets in the background? I did.
Right.
I can still hear
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, did they really pause it? I was like, is this editing or did that really happen? Oh my
Yeah. I you know, I feel like Samson is I think he is sitting there
I need a break.
like, okay, how do I get myself out of this? Because I don't think that he has. I mean, he was very surface level with her when he talked about um, connections and stuff like that. You know, he said small things that I would have probably said, like, yeah, we have been having great conversations and we existed in the same room. That's it. You know, I don't think that there was any, and I don't see any romance or anything romantic happen. But
Nope.
but it's crazy because isn't she the same one that said something about what was it? A pick me, or is she the one that said that I don't want to be somebody's pick me or that's pick me energy or whatever?
No, I think that was
Last
someone
episode, who
else.
said? Okay. Yeah, well, I haven't seen her be like so assertive, you know, until this sort of finalization period. You know, I think that she's really asserting herself hardcore to see, you know, I don't know. I just don't think she has a real solid connection with any of these guys. There may be you know, some maybe possibilities, but I don't think there's anything that, you know, somebody's really checking for her like the rest of the ladies or like a
I
few
agree.
other ladies. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Her person isn't there for
Mhm.
sure. But I think she's learning a lot about herself. That silence was awkward. And you know what, Samson? I know you're gonna watch, and I know you're gonna hit me up my gram. But I got some things to say, and it's in the context of the show, obviously, and that's what we're here to talk about. But when you come in like you can come in and make these women feel seen that aren't used to being seen,
Mm.
they're going to be in that space with you where they're like, I have a connection with Samson, and not realize it's not going further and there's not more there. And that's what we experienced there in that moment was
Right.
Samson, the charmer, the man that understands how to make someone feel good. And then when it came down to actually being substance, him having to be like, so this is what it is, right? Like, I thought he handled it pretty well. It was awkward, you know,
Mhm.
but you know, you can't, and that's the yin and the yang of the way he leads, the way he moves through this experience. And I have more to say about
Yeah.
Samson. I hope you're ready for this, Samson.
I was about to say, I know
But-
you are. You've been waiting patiently too.
But we haven't gotten there yet. But I got more to say because this episode showed me a lot. And I don't want to say yet because I don't want to get ahead of my, you know, your progress. But Samson.
Honey. That's a whole nother story. We're not gonna skip because we're gonna be all over the place. I'm trying.
Let me just say one thing though, because I feel like it adds up to this moment, is that in this episode, I saw a lot of the men who didn't show up previously show up a little more. I saw a shift of energy. And Samson was the only one showing up in the beginning.
Yep.
Mm.
And now he ain't showing up so much.
I have so many screenshots of Samson looking like this.
100%. And I get it.
I think he got his boo already. I think he got his boo. So
yeah, but even when it comes to that, the way he's handling his boo, we'll get to that. I'm a little, I got some things to say.
Okay.
You talking about boo like in real life? Like he's
no. I mean, like,
on the show.
You know,
on the
from
show.
the show.
Yeah, on the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got her. Yeah, I think it's Charisse. I think he's got eyes for Charisse. And like I said, Charisse, like you know, I did not like her the first episode or two, but then I had to realize there's people like her. Samson likes her, There's a softer side, there's a different side to her that we're not seeing. You know, there's a vulnerable side to her that they're probably isolating, and they're capturing these real hard moments of her to show her as rigid. But I think we'll start to really see
She needs to fit that narrative, right?
right. So I think she'll start to become a little bit softer as we go on. And I think, like I said, there's got to be something with her personality that is good, because a lot of people, you know, they're not trashing her. You know what I mean? They're not saying bad things about her. The guys
In the beginning, they were.
in the beginning they were, but in the beginning they did that to me. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, so there's definitely another side to this.
I like the way she shows up though when it comes to holding herself, like with the other women though, where she doesn't take their shit. Like I appreciate that.
I
That's
love
probably
it.
something
Yeah, I love
Samson
it.
really enjoys as well.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet. I don't want to jump ahead.
Right.
Sorry, Sabrina.
Yeah.
Just tell me to shut up. You know me. Sabrina, you can tell me to shut up.
No, I will never. I would never.
But you need to, so that I don't mess up the order of the program.
I would never.
When me and Jamie do it, it's so different. Like we just, as you know, Sabrina,
y'all just talk and like
it's best friends talking. You know, we started talking about this because we both are ready to love and we want to immerse ourselves and educate ourselves as much as possible.
Yeah.
So
like I
we
think
can
if it
really
was
be present
me
for
and
that.
someone else and we were just shooting it, but it's like when I have a panel of 5, 4, 5, 6 different people, I feel like it. I try to keep it as structured as possible.
And that's okay to tell me to be quiet. That's what I'm saying.
I would be like, no, we're gonna get to that. I'll say that, but I'm not gonna be like, shut up. That's something I don't do. I don't say shut up. I say be quiet. I don't even say shut up. My daughter, I don't do that. She'd be like, shut up. She'd be talking to her phone. Shut up. I'd be like, we don't say shut up in this house. I just don't. I'm like, that's a bad word. She'll hear someone say shut up and she'll be like, ooh. Okay. Let me see. So pretty much, like, I mean, I go into my notes and I'm like, you know, Samson pretty much states that Charisse is still his number one and there still isn't a spark with Brandy. Samson mentions that Brandy is spunky and wild and her lap dance for her connection was spunky. And Brandy pretty much was like, so you didn't like that? And Samson responds by saying, you know, the reciprocation is clear with how their energies move. And I was like, what a way to say, you ain't the one, you are wild, and I do not want my woman lap dancing on every time they can hear it. Like, that's what I got from that comment.
Right.
You know, he just was politically correct about it in a very sweet, nice way. And Brandy says, and Brandy pretty much says that she ain't toning down for nobody. And she says Samson says, you know, sometimes it's best to just not say anything at all. So that's what I got. I felt like that episode was them pretty much reassuring each other. Yeah, we just need to stay friends, you know. So
He
unfortunate.
did it so well, like a man. Like he just was direct and kind and thoughtful and intentional the way he did it. Are we at the part yet where is this before the jacuzzi or after? Are we past that yet?
No. We haven't gotten there because that's when Kayla and Randall go to the bedroom.
Copy.
Like, yeah, we're definitely getting there. Getting there. But other than that, anybody have anything else to say about Samson and Brandy? Nope. Okay. So Katie and Swayze are cooking in the kitchen together. They seem like they're hitting it off and pretty much that they have picked each other because they came to the house with the exact same pair of shoes on. Randall and Shanika have a conversation on the couch. Shanika opens up more to Randall and he says pretty much that he feels like more layers have opened up between him and Shanika and they're holding hands and he sees her in a different light. He's like, dang, she seems like she's a really genuine person. And now he's even more conflicted, which he needs to get it together. Okay, Randall, get it together. You can't add people. You need to be subtracting people, Randall. But anyway,
I'm not mad though at him. I am not mad at him. Shanika showed up.
Yeah, she did.
She showed up this episode. It was hard for anybody, and this is my opinion, so I shouldn't say everybody. It was hard not to fall in love with Shanika on this episode.
Yeah,
She was
that's facts.
genuine. She was vulnerable. She was authentic. And I think someone like Randall, who had just gone through seeing like, oh my God, this other one, that I'm not there. That's not going to work for me. And then for this woman to open up and be so genuine, Randall was like, oh, I'm seeking this kind of depth. I'm looking for this type of love. I fell in love with Shanika all over again with this episode. I was like, go off queen, 100%.
Yep. And in real life, for real, Jamala made it easy for Shanika to slide in.
Correct. But Shanika didn't need Jamala to do anything at this point because she came in just like, boom.
Right,
like present, authentic, vulnerable, and not victimized. That's where it can get tricky, because you can become the victim by talking about your life, and it's like a victim. She was like, this is my life, and I'm still here, and I'm standing, and I'm happy, and I'm well.
I'm with you.
So I hope she's really not entertaining LJ, because she doesn't deserve it. She deserves way better than LJ, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, considering the last conversation that he pretty much
he didn't show up.
Yeah, he didn't.
Work or not. If you really want love and your person is there, you show up. You say work can hold. Tommy is right.
What if he's? I don't know, man. He might be on verbal warning. You know, you never know what's going on at his work life.
Honey,
you sign up for this show when you know your schedule ahead of time. You know what's going on.
He was like, I'm probably going to get eliminated.
When I book a TV show, my agent tells me what dates I have to be open, and they are open.
Well, see, so here's
unless
the thing,
a better opportunity arises. And in this case,
let me tell you what I was
obviously
told.
A better opportunity was not her, is what I'm trying to say.
So what I was told when I was filming was, we will be flexible with your work. No worries.
That's never the truth, though.
They did say that.
That's never real.
But if they're not telling the truth, they got to keep it a buck too. So if
no,
they
but
want
it's not about that. It's not about that, PO. It's not about them having to.
We know that.
You get to be as a human being. You get to say, these dates are reserved, and someone is there that I really want to be with. So I'm going to prioritize that above everything else. If that's your person. If it's not, you don't. And he showed it's not.
Well, his ex is probably.
I think he was going to get eliminated, and he was like, "No, I'm not going to go." He was like, "I'm not going to go. This island boy, no, you're not going to embarrass me on TV. I'm going to go and talk to my ex and see what she's talking about, and we're just going to have some fun." So I'm gonna wait to see if somebody else going to get eliminated.
His ex probably was like, "Boy, you see what they about to do to you? You need to just come on home.
Yeah,
come on
100%. And I say that too because, what? Go ahead, baby.
Was anyone else surprised that Shanika was even still considering LJ? I thought that last episode she had completely written him off.
Me too.
I'm not surprised. Because her friends supported that situation. And she made it very clear that she's trying to make sure that she goes outside of her own judgment and listens to her friends. So I wasn't surprised because of that specifically.
That's interesting. But I agree. She's a wonderful woman with a lot to offer. I think that she and Randall would be a great match. But I actually believe that Randall has maybe more experience with stronger personality types like Jamala or Kayla.
And I don't think that's been working for him.
Yeah. But sometimes we still gravitate toward what feels familiar. So that's my thought on that.
Yeah, 100%. And somebody said in the comments, I'm going to take my check before the person. Listen to me. I missed my best friend's wedding reception because I had a producer session, right? I learned from that no money is worth missing out on important moments in life. Plain and simple.
That was one of Randall's points at the dinner.
So, you can choose your money if that's what's important to you. But if you're looking for love, that's what you should be choosing. Really simple.
Well, there's a term.
Cheers to you who chooses the money, though. You want to deposit some of my Venmo?
There's that term called MOB, money over bowl.
Right.
So.
Does anyone have anything else to say about Randall and Shanika? Nope. Okay. All right. I don't have anything.
I liked them. I thought it was cute. We already said that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I thought it was cute, and
Mm-hmm.
you know,
I saw Randall more clearly too, like we just said. Like I was like, okay, Randall, coming through for the dub.
And I don't know
if you more Randy.
If you noticed, after he cried, after Shanika said what she had to say, and after he cried, Jamala, her whole face, things changed.
Yep.
Kayla, things changed. Like when y'all go back, like look at these people's this episode was very telling. It was to the point where I was like, I want to watch this and turn the volume down. I don't want to hear nothing. These facial expressions and the side eyes and the looks and I got one I'm going to show you. And I was like, wow, and it was so quick, but had I not been paying attention, like really in the screen, because I was, trying to get my clips, my photos. But yeah.
I like Randall's vulnerability. I mean, I've seen him, being a communicator and things like that. But for him to, kind of loosen up, I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm. I do too. Because
I
with
was
this
hoping
episode,
you show this picture.
Yeah.
Hot tub scene. Yes.
With this episode, I felt like we did get to see Randall a lot more. Him being vulnerable, him being emotional. I feel like I know Randall more than I know Samson, and Samson has been showed up since day one.
Boom! There was a shift in dynamics of understanding the men. Since you said it, I'm just going to parlay off of it a little bit. Samson backtracked this episode several steps. The other men stepped forward a lot. Yeah. And I'm going to counter that, Samson, by saying, don't look so damn delicious in that hot tub. Coming in looking like fire. Damn, I had to look away from the TV. I was like, I can't, Samson, not with those tattoos in that body. I'm not looking at this hot tub scene.
Now I wish I would have gotten more pictures with the shirt on.
I was like, Samson, my God.
I think I don't think that Samson pulled back. I think they edited it and pulled it back. I think they just scaled it back just to give a different just to give it a different texture.
Yeah, that's
because I mean, and I just know based off of what I've seen happening in in my season, where where people were really putting it out there, they were like muzzling it. So I think they're doing that just to kind of give it a little bit of a different look.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's been. I think Samson's probably been the same way throughout, and they're just isolating it enough just to give us that different perspective.
Wow.
Well, what they're giving us definitely changed my narrative and my tune, and I agree and I disagree with you, because I think what they're starting to show is that when it comes down to it, is Samson really capable of being vulnerable and open? And it's what Charisse is saying. He knows what to say. He knows how to be and all those things. But is he really capable of going past it? And why I disagree with you, why, is because there are moments in this thing where they show clips that could have definitely been edited and popped in. But I was like, why is he acting like why is he being surface? Why is he covering up? Why is he being sheltered? Why is he not really embracing the moment and taking it further? Is that possibly a reason why he is 46 and hasn't found love yet? When it comes in, is he still not ready for it? And knowing Samson after this experience, he's seen himself. He's ready and he's open to it and willing. No doubt about that. But from this episode, that's what I started to gather. Like, this is what his learning lesson was possibly.
So, okay, so just to speak to that. So I feel like Samson, like I know for me, see, I go behind the scenes and I think from their lens because I saw what happened to me and folks around me. So like there was a point on the on my season where they were like, "You're not open and you're not being this and that." And I'm thinking, I'm probably the only person here that's open, that's, really putting it out there. And so what they did was they used someone to say that, and that painted the picture, and then they isolated it as well. So it could be one of those things where, because I mean, let's be clear, they don't tell you, they don't give you a script, so to speak, and say go out there, but they, say, hey, dig a little bit deeper, ask them probing questions like X, Y, and Z, and to see why he's not being X, Y, and Z. So that may have been sort of the kick that they got, and then they probably backed it up with a confessional as well.
Well,
Because remember,
to be fair, the image as you were portrayed as is completely different scenario as Samson, though. So the
No, I
comparison
understand
that you're
that.
bringing is hard for me to like correlate the two too.
Yeah,
So that's the difference. Do you hear me when I'm saying that, right?
Yeah, I do, but it is a difference between his person and my person. But at the same time, what's the exact same is the way that they flip the narrative, the way that they try to induce the story. So that's all I'm saying. No doubt about it. I was a totally different person than him, no doubt.
Yeah, the storyline, everything that we saw, and that's why that conclusion there. And so people keep talking, they're talking so much back in the comments, but I agree with them from what I'm witnessing as it's being produced to be seen possibly, or as it could have been in real life, is that he definitely is backpedaling, and maybe that was what was holding him back from really accepting and being in love. I only say that not as judgment, but as somebody like Samson, who is in some sense a life coach and knows how to show up and be love. But when it comes to me being love, it took a really long time. I'm just now at 40 being like, I'm actually ready to be loved, and I'm not going to backpedal when it presents itself. I saw Samson backpedaling this time, and it's on my own issues. It's my past. I am aware of it. I'm conscious of it, and I guarantee Samson is aware of himself as well. So that's why I know when he was on here, he said that he was dating somebody or something like that.
He did?
Didn't he? Because people were trying to hook him up with Jamie, and he was like, if my situation doesn't work out, I'll hit Jamie up or something like that.
He did say that.
So
he did say that.
I am a Samson stan through and through. I'm just saying what I'm seeing through the episode, and I'm seeing maybe what could be happening in his evolution of who he is.
And by the way, Samson is 48.
Yes.
Yeah, I got that. My bad. 48 and divinely sexy. Ooh, I can't.
Great.
Can't.
Great.
So good. I'm still waiting for Devin to text me.
I was getting ready to say.
I'm still waiting for Devin to slide in my DMs in case he decides to be on my team, because he is too fine to handle. But Samson and Charisse too. I see it. I get it. I don't say I'm gonna say I don't understand it. In the sense of, he said we're so much alike in so many ways. I don't see that. Actually, I don't actually see them being so alike. But
who,
I don't know
Samson
them
and Charisse?
Yeah, he said that in this episode. He was like, we're so much alike that
they're completely different. I feel like they're good for each other, but I feel like they're completely two different people.
I'm not sold
disagree.
if they are good. I'm not sold that they are good for each other, to be honest with you. But
for
all I know, they're still together and they are good for each other. Great. I'm just not sold on it yet. And it doesn't matter if I'm sold on it or not, but
I think Samson and Charisse are exactly alike, and here's why. Because I think they have that same passion, that same drive, that energy. I think Samson's, probably more passionate about, who he is as a man and laying things out like that. And Charisse is very passionate about being treated like a woman and, things of that nature. So I think they share that same, passion, that sort of fiery spark. They're just different variations of each other.
I hear you. I hear you. I think because me personally, I'm like, I've said this from the jump. I'm like, Samson is what I envision as a husband. Like the way he could come to me is what I'm expecting for my man to show up as, right? And I'm so different from Charisse though. So that's why I'm like, I'm not sure if that worked for him. But me and Samson are the same person. We're not, this is a whole different situation. But that's where my hesitation lies, is just thinking like, but I'm not like Charisse. So how would someone like that show up for me and be a match? Right? So
yeah, I say the reason that they seem like that they're good for each other is because of him being a life coach and how he described how he wants his woman to have a little struggle, etc. We're not going to get into that conversation, but pretty much how what he said about that woman. I feel like Charisse is that woman. And I also feel like because how hard Charisse is, he brings out the softer side in Charisse. So I feel like that they not that they're made for each other, but that more so that they complement each other. Like she gives him what he needs and he gives her what she needs. You know what I mean? Like they feed off of each other.
yeah.
There's lots of potential there if he can.
Somebody said, "What are we watching?"
I'm like, and I've had a glass and a half of wine, people. This is, if you've watched me before, I'm just this crazy. So
I am. What were you about to say? I am. I'm sorry. We cut you off.
I forgot. I was thinking about wine now because of Gus.
I've been drinking for you, by the way. Every single time I take two sips, it's for you, the second one.
Thank you.
You got it.
Oh my God. What was I about to say? What is this? Well, alrighty then.
They both deserve it. I think Charisse is ready. I think she's ready for love. I think she's really aware of who she is. Yeah. She's authentic and she's grounded in herself as a woman. I think Charisse is a woman. So yeah. I think she deserves it. She's ready.
Yeah. Miss Demita Joe, thank you for joining us. We are discussing I forgot what we were discussing. Hold on, let me go back to my notes. Can y'all help me? Hold on, what are we?
We were discussing Samson.
Charisse and Samson.
Yeah. Right, yeah. But
say one more
that's
thing.
right, because I just put the picture up with everyone in the jacuzzi, and for real, we're supposed to be talking about Randall, Jamala, and
we're looking at Samson's tattoos.
Yeah, that's how it started.
And his pecs.
And all of that.
Yes. So in real life, go ahead, Gus.
I think for some people, like people are saying, and you guys touched on it too, and I just want to say this because I think it's important. Samson is attracted to being the person that uplifts her in some sense, right? That is able to support her, and like you guys were saying, I've learned from watching the show that everybody is different and needs something different, and if that's what they need, if that's how they are able to complement each other, that's awesome. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the scene. Okay, so let me do this real quick. So this was the picture, so we can update Miss Demita Joe.
We'll show it again.
Scene.
Yeah, so right. I am. You want to see it too? I know you do.
So we were about to start talking about Kayla and Randall and how Jamala walks in, but yeah, I wish I had more pictures with Samson and his tattoos, but he kind of overtook the conversation for the last 25 minutes. Would you like to comment to me on this scene before we actually move forward to what we were supposed to be talking about?
No, I was listening in the car and I heard Gus gushing over Samson. And I was just laughing at that part.
Yeah, now that Devin's gone, he can give all his focus to
No, because I don't think Samson plays on my team. I think Devin secretly might. That's the difference.
Oh, that's y'all go to the same church.
Oh gosh. Okay, let me get my notes.
Hey, Jamala.
Kaylin, Randall, Charisse, and Samson are at the jacuzzi, and Jamala joins them. She says that she is not feeling sharing her time with her man, Randall. Jamala says that Randall has a second neck and someone always is hanging from it. Kayla is putting the pressure on and does not know where Jamala is. Hold on, is that my notes? Randall says that Kayla is putting the pressure on and she does not care where Jamala is and she just putting it on. Randall and Kayla get up and they go inside. Jamala comes inside and she pretty much lets everyone know, us, that she's not jealous. She's just territorial. She's not jealous, people.
We've heard that before.
That is a really bad excuse to justify.
So she doesn't know where they went. Where did they go? Where did they go? So they did go missing and she wants to know where they went. Jamala finds them in someone's room, maybe Randall's room. She goes and gets her stuff, not really her stuff, just her hat. Kayla says that she must have GPS tracking on him because everywhere he goes, she pops up. Randall says that they all signed up for the same process. So for her to come in and try to take control is really putting him in a bad place. He said that she should have been more secure because of the connection that they do have. And Kayla pretty much wants to know where her stuff is. Yeah. Where's her
I'm
stuff?
going to say Jamala looked incredible in that bathing suit. That bathing suit was amazing. Her hair and makeup were right. That necklace.
So did Samson when she first walked up.
You know how I feel about that. So.
So it is a lot to say.
Cute.
Yeah. Who wants to go first? Because this is the scene. This is the scene, guys.
That was, you know what? I wish Tyrone was here because I feel like right now, I'm going to speak for Tyrone because I think what he would say. I told her she was a plant.
Hold on. What?
You know how he always says that she was a plant, like she was planted in?
Who Kayla was?
Kayla.
Uh-huh. Tyrone always says that, and I feel like through this episode, that's what it kind of feels like a little bit. But I'm just gonna say that for Tyrone because he's not here at MSM.
I don't know. I see Randall shifting gears towards Kayla. I think he gets rid of what's her face, and redirects his attention to Kayla.
I mean, she helped him. If he does do that, she helped him because I could see her trying to stop herself from doing it when she walked in the house and somebody was in the kitchen and she kind of stopped and she looked up. I feel like she was like, "I'm about to go up there."
Yeah.
and then there she was.
Absolutely. But I also think that that Jamala is genuinely shocked that Randall is allowing this display of affection in front of her. I feel like she did know that they had the strongest connection. So she came into the weekend very confident and she did not expect him to behave this way.
Yeah.
So she didn't communicate. She had very valid feelings, but she did not communicate it right.
Well, but she
go
did.
Off. I am. Go off.
Thanks, Gus.
She did. Though. She did tell her.
This is water.
She did tell Randall, "Hey, why don't you go check out that big room or whatever?" So if you do that and you start baiting that energy and start sabotaging it, well, you can't be mad when your sabotaging is actually working.
Totally.
Yeah, so I think that she wanted to bring the conversation up because he wasn't bringing the conversation up, and so that was her way of, I guess, bringing it up. But it wasn't like, that's just like saying, did you look at her ass over there? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to curse, but did you see that girl over there? And he's like, "Ooh, what?" And you bringing his attention to this chick, and then
he gonna turn and look at her arse.
You like her? You like her? Like you just now pointed this out to me, so. I don't know, man. I saw it happening and I was just like, oh.
Yep. Yeah. Look, Kenya from Cali says, "Yup, Randall said himself, I told Jamala I'm hers. When he said she should trust him, he set those expectations. which means he sold a dream or two, and she bought him.
Yeah.
I don't think he sold. I don't think he sold the dream. I think he was clear and concise with that. And I think when they went on that getaway, they had that understanding. Now, obviously, the the assignment. The assignment is for if you are looking to get a connection with somebody, you should not be letting that one person house your connection. If you want them, have at them. And I think he was saying to her, look, we all know what the assignment is, but I'm telling you that I'm holding you here. Yes, we have an assignment to do. You have one, they have one. But at the end of the day, you're my strongest.
Paul, and you know what that is? A dream. That's all I'm
Well,
that's all I'm trying to
It's
say.
set the expectation.
Right, exactly. Because in her head, I mean, I get what you're saying, Paul, and I completely agree with what you're saying. But what I'm saying is if that was the case in her head, she like, if that's what we said coming in, and if that's how it was supposed to be, then why are you entertaining these other women? Why I got to come around the corner and you cheat on your bed?
okay.
Why?
Well,
If not yours,
okay,
because you should have stepped up like what Gus say, amen, and let these chickens know I'm good. Like I don't need no hay, I don't need no seeds. I'm good.
But,
like I found my
here's
girl.
the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing though. When she starts to display these red flags, that's when he starts to buy into the other people because
no, you're right about that part.
Because he's
100%.
saying, well, I mean, you were the one. I told you what it was, but shit, I don't know now because look at all these red flags.
Yeah, but he was acting like that before the red flags popped up. So that's why the red flags even popped up, because he wasn't acting according to how she thought he was supposed to act, because he told her that I'm going to act like this. I'm going to do this. We going to do this. We right here. This is where we going to. She believed everything he was saying, but 100%. His actions were not matching up with his words. That's where her frustration came.
So, okay. So now here's what, this just as well as I do. If he goes in there and says, I don't want to hear nothing what you got to say. I don't want to hear nothing what she got to say. Then Tommy's going to say, Randall, you ain't being open. You got to be open to these ladies and give them a chance, because that's what this is here for. We trying to find out. So you know how that
you're
goes.
both. No, you're both. I think you're both are right, and I feel like that's what we touched on earlier. He's doing what he's there to do, and she wasn't secure enough to let him do that.
Right.
She was triggered by it, and that's when the red flag arises, which I think is really good. And that's a part of the real dating process. You're in 6, 9, 8 weeks, wherever you are. And then she's showing that she's not confident, secure enough. And maybe he needs somebody who is, right?
Gone, Jamala. She said, excuse me, cameraman. She went under the camera.
She was over it.
Honey,
it was more, I mean, she had every right to be that hurt.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, by the way that she was led, she was sold a dream. But I think it's really important for her to learn from this and be like, oh, if I was sold on that dream and that man was selling me that dream because I was a part of it, there's nothing for me to be concerned with. So I'm on a TV show and everyone needs to mix and mingle. Let him go mix and mingle and be confident that he comes home at the end of the day. It's like Joy last season. She was like, he can go and be wherever he wants. He's coming home. Sabrina, on your season, you were like, I ain't worried. Walter's gonna come home. So it's that. She's still growing. She's still learning. That's why I said she has a pass this one time. Yeah. And then after that.
But this like the second time though, a little bit.
So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, because they weren't. I think that they had a miscommunication, and she understood it one way. Like when we go in this house, she said in the beginning, we this is a couples trip. You know what I mean? And he was on a plane of, I'm gonna go ahead and get through this process. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know how I'm gonna spend time with all these women, but but it's like if that's your one connection, and this person has multiple connections, it's already gonna be off. But I just feel like she should have just stopped and thought about, you know, would you want somebody to come in while he's talking to you and do that? You know what I mean? Because now it just looks crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it does. But at the end of the day, just like Randall said it, like, regardless of what maybe he thought, because you got to remember, men are from Venus, women are from Mars. Maybe in his head, he thought, because
Opposite.
say it again.
Men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Okay, see, I even got it mixed up. So you see how different we are. So my thing is maybe he explained it to her, like, you know, we together, I like you, just relax, just chill out. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say relax, chill out. He said, we gonna be together, we gonna be on this trip, whatever. So in his head, he thinking, but I know she know that we in a process. Like, she know I got to talk to other people. But in her head, she like, that's my man, that's my type. We gonna be together, and he not gonna be with nobody else but me, because he said that we was gonna be together. And he like, yeah, Jamala, he done got locked. You know what I'm saying? That's my boo. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling her. Yeah, that's my boo. I love my boo. I'm so glad that she's so patient with me, and we just gonna keep going through this process. And she know, like, you know, I got 2 other women that I got to, you know what I'm saying? Because we got to get to the show. You know, we trying to make it to the end. You know, we already had that talk, so it's like, I'm good. Randall is thrown off, because I feel like at this point, Randall has been sold a dream from Jamala, because Jamala made him think like we was all good. I understood the process. I'm down with you. I know you got 2 other women. And he like, wait a minute, I thought you understood. So I really feel like it was a misunderstanding when it comes to them. Unfortunately, they were in the same book, but unfortunately they was in 2 different chapters. So.
Yeah, I feel like you know, at the end of the day, at this particular part in the process, even if, let's just say, even if Randall wanted to go another route with somebody that he didn't really spend a lot of time with, it wouldn't matter, right? Because in terms of storytelling, they wouldn't even set up the dates, and that it just wouldn't work that way. It wouldn't work that way simply because they don't have the data. They don't have the dates to, you know, to show any of that. So I think that you know, I feel like the way that he treated her, you know, I think she was just a bit overzealous. She was a bit rambunctious, you know, in terms of the connection. And she's like, I want to secure this, but it was already secured. You know, it's kind of like over securing the bag, you know, and you know, when you put too much security on something, you lose it.
Well, when the bag is starting to be taken, and like, you know, they're starting to decode it and like open the safe and take it, other people are taking it. It's hard not to react that way when you think your bag is safe and it's yours to keep.
But it wasn't. It was
So,
never taken though. That was the thing.
well,
The bag went nowhere because
when
he's
it
like,
starts,
look, I'm reassuring you that I told you. You know what I'm saying? Exactly what we talked about. What we talked about before we got here is still ongoing. So why do you want to try to unravel that? So the bag was secure.
it was in the safe. It was locked. No one knew the code but her.
I mean, you know, you know, you unlock the bag, you unlock the safe when you say go down the hall to that big ass room.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. Well, yeah, I was so fast, Sabrina. What did that last one say?
This one?
Well.
Oh, because.
Yes, Kenyon from Cali.
That's what originally was said. Yeah, and Nancy says, Randall, it's time for you to pick a side. Pick a side. But actually.
I mean, at this point, it kind of is. But I think after this is when he should. Not like this was his opportunity to still be like, okay, I'm here. I'm in the experience. After this, it's time for him to pick a side, I think, for sure.
She said, find where you want to be.
Yep. Facts. Yep. And, you know, it is what it is. Does anyone have anything else to say about Randall and Jamala and Kayla, and her going into the room and getting her stuff and only getting her hat. And yeah. No, nothing.
I would have left my shit. Stuff.
But see, that's the thing. It's okay. That's the thing. She did leave her stuff. She was like, "Oh, where's my stuff? Here it is."
Yeah.
But that's like
Exactly.
the kid. That's like the kid that came to the basketball court and wasn't winning, so they wanted to take their ball and go home
100%.
and leave everybody in a mess.
Totally.
Yeah,
Same
and he
deal.
called her out on that. He was like, "Why did you even leave that there?"
Right.
It's like, you know, it's so infuriating when they're right. I hate that.
Yeah. At least they've just been like, "Oh, excuse me, I'm just coming to get my lip gloss because this is my stuff in this room."
But you know what? But you know,
you know what I mean? And left him like, "Have fun."
exactly.
I know what I got.
But you
And
know
Kayla
what?
was like, why was her stuff even in here to begin with?
Exactly. Exactly. And at that moment,
It was in there because of that understanding.
Right.
Mhm.
and at that very moment made me realize or made me question, why is Kayla like, so poor Kayla. What she went through with Mike, and it's like, I'm laying on your bed joking and laughing.
Yeah.
She didn't even realize. I mean, she thinking she got the upper hand on Jamala, but Jamala really just went in the room just to let her know, you here for a moment, but I'm gonna be here tonight. Like that's all she wanted to confirm. Period. You know, and she was like, why is her stuff here? And I just feel like it's a whole nother Mike situation again. Like Randall, that scene just let you know the universe was trying to say, boo, how many signs do I got to give you, boo?
For real.
Like Randall is not really feeling you. Mike really ain't feeling you. Like, yeah, situations like this is when I would say, I wish she would self-eliminate. And I usually don't say that because I want people to go through the process. I want them to go to the end because you never know what can happen. But for this moment with her, yeah. She's
well,
like,
that's
why
kind of
would you even in here?
I think, as Tyrone would say, someone said he says she's for the shits. I could have swore we said like he thought that she was a plant or something like that too at one point. But that's why I think that could be real, is because there's nothing really there for her. She's just there to keep stirring the drama, really, at the end of the day. It's hard for me to believe someone who is so successful in doing what she does could, as they're portraying her to have, such a lack of an awareness.
We're saying
so. Yes, sorry, thank you.
Yeah, I think if I was a betting man today, I might bet maybe the car and maybe half of the house that Kayla and Randall walks away from this thing
together.
Mm-hmm.
You think so?
Damn.
Yeah, he has been saying, you know, that he has interest in her. Jamala was still number one. And I don't think Randall is the kind of guy that would come on the show and like have a second just to kind of keep himself on. We have seen guys like that, but I don't think that Randall is that kind of guy. He has genuine interest in her.
Oh no,
So
I
does Mike, by the way.
totally see that. I totally see that, but I just don't know if I see that's gonna be
lasting.
That's gonna be crazy if he does.
Yeah.
I mean, but I can see them together though. I can see them together, but that's gonna be wild.
I hear you guys, because I think, like you said, it's what one of y'all said. It was what he's used to. It's what he gravitates toward, right? Naturally. So I could see that. I just wonder though if this is his chance to you know, sometimes we need to break a pattern because it has been working for us and choose something a little different that might really initiate something that's long lasting. I don't know enough. I haven't seen enough to be able to really, you know, have a point of view, but I think about that with him specifically.
Yeah. Honestly, like I keep feeling like this. I don't want to feel like this, but if I could be politically politically correct and go with how I really feel, it would really make sense for Randall to choose himself. At this point. I mean,
Yeah.
He ain't doing that.
no, I know he's not, but what he doesn't have to. He got options.
Wait a minute, how do we know he even makes it to the end though?
Honey, he got 3 options. So
Right.
if he doesn't make it to the end, I would be really, really surprised. I feel like at this point, he can just pick and choose. He can just choose whomever he wants. Because I mean, they're pretty much like, I'm on a platter. Here I am, baby. Like, what you?
He thought he was going home though. I could have sworn. I don't know if
it was Swayze thought he was going home.
Well, I thought that Randall was saying, all of these things
You're
happened
right.
in the last 24 hours. He was like, I'm pretty sure I'm going home. And I had to rewind it because I was like, why would you think you going home?
Yeah,
But
with Mike, I think when he was talking to Mike, right?
he was, that was right before the elimination. Like right before he called the people, Swayze and Samson up. But I was like, why would he think he was going home? But yeah, I think he'll make it to the end. I think he'll make it. But if he walk off with Kayla, my mouth is gonna be on the floor. I mean, I like Kayla and I see them together. Like I think they make a cute couple. But
Well, you know what?
Jamal
We're gonna have by the time the getaway's over, we're gonna have to put duct tape around your head to keep your jaw from hitting on the floor. Right?
I'm not a betting man, so I would never bet that. But hey, if you win that car and house back and on top of it, that's amazing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Got 2 cars and 2 homes. Go off.
Right.
I am. Were you getting ready to say something about like a couple minutes?
I think that I think it's going to be interesting at the end. I keep going back to this teaser where Mike says he's going to risk it all. I have not made any predictions, but I predict both Mike and Randall are going to choose Kayla at the end.
What?
Yeah.
Mike better not choose no daggone Kayla at the end.
That wouldn't even make sense.
All this time and shun me, or not even really shun me, but not really. No, he better not.
I'm with you. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, in this, we're not there yet, so I'm not going to skip. But it's what we all see. He is that guy that is. He pushes away. From what we see on the show. He pushes away. He pushes away. He pushes away. And once they're all the way out, he goes, "I'm kidding. I was just testing you, and I want you."
Right.
But you can't do that to everybody. He better not.
But somebody
like
them and those women in what we're seeing are in that space. They would be okay with that.
Mercy.
In my point in my life, I'd be like,
Kayla has said out loud exactly what Mike is doing. You know what I mean? So she better. If he does, she better not. That's all I got to say.
But she still feels that connection. She still feels that, like, the connection that she's not feeling with the other guys, that she's kind of trying to force to feel, but she genuinely feels with Mike. So I just wouldn't be surprised. I am. It's a good one.
Y'all might be on something.
Say it again.
They might be on to something. But I'm just gonna be so irritated.
Demena's just gonna be mad. She's just letting us know that she's gonna be mad.
I'm gonna be mad too.
A lot of people.
I just wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Does anybody have?
He does give off Dante vibes. Sorry.
Who? I have my notes up, so I don't see.
Mike.
Mr. S. Thick. He gives off Dante vibes.
Who? Randall or Mike? I mean,
what are Dante vibes like before we go? What is that?
Right,
like the Dante on the show or the Dante after the show.
Yeah,
like
Dante.
That's the whole point. I think that's I know. Sorry, Sabrina, I'll talk for you. I think that.
We can still hear you, Sabrina.
Oh shit.
Did you just curse?
She did. I don't feel so bad anymore.
Oh, I said shoot. I said shoot. Yeah. Yeah.
Just
I have
love
to play.
this
I have to
show.
play Ireland sometimes. Is it Ireland or France? I don't know.
Switzerland.
Yeah, you in
Well,
a
yeah.
situation.
Yeah. Y'all
One
know
of those
exactly.
lands.
Right.
Right. Okay. Does anyone have anything else to say about Kayla and Randall and Jamala?
No.
Okay. So moving forward, we have Samson and Charisse and Kaden and Swayze. They go jet skiing. They look like they are living their best life. This is when LJ and Shanika have a phone conversation, and it seems like they're really into each other. And LJ is like, "Send me a picture, girl." Yeah. And then we have Charisse and Samson and Charisse. They sit and have a talk. When they first sit down, it's crickets again. I don't know if you can still hear them or not, but he says that he knows how to make a lady smile and he knows how to make a lady feel special. So he starts to rub her feet or he rubs her feet and then says that. And pretty much she says that she wants Samson to open up, and they talk pretty much about surface stuff and about corn and being a cornball.
Feet.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
And this is what I've been waiting to get to. So if I just may say one or two things.
Absolutely.
Why doesn't he have the wherewithal from what we are witnessing, Samson, to push forward in the vulnerable aspects of what's necessary for love, especially somebody like Charisse? Charisse needs somebody to break her heart open. He laughed at me because I called her heart cold. I was like, he needs her to warm her heart up. But I mean that in a very genuine way, in the sense of Charisse seems like she is needs somebody to really make her feel seen, to allow her to be vulnerable, to be present. You know, she's a strong, independent businesswoman. She needs somebody that makes her feel good. Samson's capable of that. He's done that. But now when it's necessary to take it a step further, he's backtracking. Questionable, right?
I think Cherie should embrace the young tender movement. I think Samson definitely fumbled her because, you know, he had a real chance with her. I would say I have been saying that he had a real chance with Brandy as well. Many people disagree with me. But in terms of Charisse, you know, she's definitely looking toward him like, you know, a really good potential life partner. But he just, we have what we have seen is all surface, and he blew it. This was his chance. This was the getaway. Come out, Samson. You know, come on.
Is that because he's intimidated or nervous or take the next step? Like, look there, he's like holding his breath, and to be fair, they're both holding their breath. They're both not being transparent with each other. They're both not asking for more. Charisse is telling us in the what are they? The DRs, whatever they're called, confessionals. I've been watching a lot of Big Brother, so the DR, sorry. You know, like, she wants more, but I've never seen Charisse ask for more, not once. I haven't seen her initiate a conversation that is actually going to be involved in some depth and getting to from what we're seeing. Okay. So it's like they're reflecting each other in that sense, which I guess is a good thing, because if you're reflecting, that means that you're on the same page. But, you know, and then the feet thing, that was such a cop out. That was a cop out. And she fell for it. If I were to I'd be like, oh, really? So you're going to go to the feet, which has nothing to do with actual intimacy and getting to know me and having a conversation. You're just going to touch my feet. And like, it was avoidant, is what I'm trying to say.
But wait a minute. But what if that happened in the beginning and they edited that particular thing to show?
I can only go off of what I'm seeing, PO.
I understand.
I can't give excuses.
I understand. I understand. But when I look at that, I look at it from a different type of lens. So even though we saw it in that natural form, what would make sense is that happened first, and then they had that deep conversation afterwards.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I agree with you on that or not, because I can't tell from that.
What's up?
Go ahead.
P.O., do you feel like looking at that scene, did it register with you how disappointed she seemed?
Right.
Exactly.
That's
She
what I
Yeah,
seemed
got.
genuinely disappointed because she wants this man.
Would she be
And he's just
disappointed
not
after her feet were rubbed?
but see you gotta remember. I mean, you've been there. Like these scenes don't. It's not like a 3 minute scene. So
Mhm.
they're sitting there probably for about a half an hour, 20 minutes, 25 minutes at max, or at the minimum, and they're having these different types of conversations, and then there some of those conversations are being steered a little bit. So I could see him starting out, because he seems like a lighthearted guy. I could see him starting out rubbing the foot thing, and just kind of easing into the conversation. And then, yeah, they probably did have this deeper conversation, and maybe he didn't give enough for her to really, feel like she was either heard or, that she was being acknowledged in the way that she was looking for. But at the same time, it wouldn't make sense knowing who he is or what he sort of stands for. I can't see him replacing a deep conversation, and we're talking about a life coach, replacing a
I
deep
can.
conversation with a foot rub.
I can.
Yeah,
I can from the way they edited it. Let me be
right,
specific with
right.
that, because
Mhm.
my antennas went up and said, "Oh, when it comes down to the nitty and gritty, he's not capable of the actual intimacy that's necessary to push into love, and that's why he's 48 and still single." Because as a life coach, it's real easy to show up all the time. It's really easy to make people feel loved. It's really easy to see people, but it's not so easy. And I see this in all the life coaches, including
Mhm.
myself.
Mhm.
It's not so easy then to show up for ourselves and really be there. So that's when the narrative shifted for me, regardless of editing or not. That's what my intuition said. It was like, oh, but you're right, P.O. It could all be editing. But my narrative from what they're showing us
Mhm.
completely shifted on Samson. He started
Yeah,
off way
I
ahead
mean,
in the field, and he's now behind
yeah,
all the other guys who are actually pushing forward relationships. And
and I can,
Charisse, who we've been with, is
yeah,
like, what's going on? Well, ask him, Charisse. And maybe she has, but that's not what I've seen.
yeah. I mean, I completely agree with what you're saying. I'm just a little bit more optimistic in terms of the way that the layout is. Not saying that what you're saying can't be true, but I'm also saying that there is a different way that could have,
100%
been done. Yeah,
presented. Yeah,
yeah, for
no
sure.
doubt. No doubt.
Mhm.
Hey, Jamie, and it's a love. I am a life coach. Ask all my friends who are happy and married and living their best life.
That should be a life coach. I'm gonna try my hand at that.
Oh my
Go
God.
ahead, P.O. I support you.
Oh, hey, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
Hi, bestie.
She'll be back next week, guys. Okay. Does anybody have anything else to say about Samson and Charisse? Because I really hope that. Yeah. Does anyone have anything to say?
I think they're both capable and ready for love at the end of the day.
Yeah. I completely agree as well. But I just feel like it's just been really surface. Like I said, I feel like this one episode, I know so much about Randall, and up until now, I feel like I still don't really know Samson that much. I mean, I don't know. In defense of Paul, maybe it was the editing. Maybe they left a lot of stuff on the floor, like how I discussed earlier about how a lot of stuff was missing with me. I mean, I just don't know. And they just wanted to paint a certain kind of narrative about Samson and how they wanted us to portray him in a certain light. And, and everybody is a character, you know what I mean, in their eyes. And and what we give them is what they have to make out what they want us to be and what they want us to show, or what they want to show you guys or us as the viewers. So
And let me just say something.
Narrative.
So,
yes.
so as Samson is being portrayed on the show, he starts out, everybody looks at him, and he's doing so much of the right things, right? He's doing all of these good things, these great things, and people are like, hey, you know what? He's a good guy. I look at him as sort of a man's man, that sort of type of vibe, right? And from experience, I know that even when you get it right, they always create something. This is a created scenario or whatever to help you doubt that the person that you're seeing is different than what you thought they once were.
Mm-hmm. So Christopher Markland says, Eiffel tell that it's getting late. I'm on 3.5 hours of sleep. Okay. Eiffel Tower at sunset, check. Foot rub, check. Buys all the ladies gifts, check. Makes sure the dog likes them, check. You see the pattern. Do you guys feel the same way? Is how Christopher Markland is pretty much, what he's trying to say. Do you guys feel the same way? Like, are you starting to? Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely a possibility. I don't know if it's editing like PO would say or not, but yeah, it very well could be a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a level of intimacy that you think that buys you by doing all that stuff, but when it comes down to it, you can't push past that wall to really be there because you're not capable or you haven't. It's a very real thing. So to be determined, I don't know. I mean, do I think he's capable? Yes, but this would be the thing that would teach him how to push past it. If that was the situation, he's aware enough that he would watch this and be like, oh, I see what I'm doing. I'm going to move past this.
But that. So here's one thing though, that I'll tell you about Samson, him and, Charisse. This is the reason why I feel like, whatever he has going with Charisse is sort of real, because he's had an opportunity with 3 different women to, kind of have his way at, whatever he was looking for. And he sort of tuned them out. And, you see him, every time you see him, he's got Charisse right by his side. Even when the 3 of them sat down, Charisse was closest to him than the rest of the women. So there's this sort of magnetic sort of energy that those 2 have, that he's, feeding, and he's not doing a whole lot of feeding with the rest of the ladies. So I think that he genuinely sees something in Charisse that he likes, something that is, sort of making him want to, be a little bit more vulnerable with her and less with the other women. So I don't know. I think that story will be told next episode.
Right. Or it could be a safety net. It could be that person, Charisse, isn't asking for more in person, and that he's able to then disguise and not have to move past it because she's accepting him as he is. Like, there's a duality that definitely exists, and to be determined. That's the fun part of this show. Damn, he looks good in that picture. You better stop it, Samson.
Smooch alert.
Okay. This is from a screenshot from the next episode, guys. So I don't want you to think like, wait a minute, did I miss this? So this was next episode. So since you brought it up, I was like, let me Yeah,
I'm sure that he's probably given her his vulnerable side, and she's accepting, and this is the progression.
Well, I was kind of shocked to see him kissing too.
They did kiss this episode as well.
This is the most kissing this season ever. One thing I am happy about is that they were not as sexualized as how Potomac was.
Yeah.
Right.
They're just touchy feely, kissy, and I guess that's all right.
I knew you were going to post that one. I was hoping you would.
I because I work hard on my screenshots.
You do. You love them.
My screenshots, like, yeah.
We all love
like,
them.
The
This is work.
screenshot thing is a whole thing.
Are you feeling it? Are you feeling it?
Yes, respect. I do it too. So it's like, respect. It's a whole ordeal.
It involves work for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It literally takes me about 2.5 to 3 hours for everything.
Yep.
Yeah, this is my job. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I take it serious. I don't want to, like, we can come up here and shoot it all day, but yeah, like, this is what this is about, you know? Okay, so the very next scene, let me just go ahead and put this picture up. I probably don't even need to say anything. I'm just going to put the picture up and I'm just going to be like, go.
He was blown.
That face.
That face says GTFO.
Yep.
Yeah.
100,000%. But how can I be kind in the process? But I am checked the fuck out. I'm checked out and I am not here.
Mhm.
Poor Randall.
This was the scene that solidified she did not get the memo.
Nobody wants another mom in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one wants to be scolded and deal with like that type of energy and behavior, especially when you haven't really, it's not been warranted into the degree of which she's acting out on. Like, it's not cute. It's not a good look.
That's horrible.
Yeah, she does
We're
say
grown
that.
men. We don't need another mom.
Yeah. And she also tells Randall that his actions are not appropriate and that they are very inappropriate. And Randall does mention that she came, you know, and got her hat and pretty much left her stuff. And he's like, you know, why you do that? He like, I told you, like, you know, we doing this, we in this together. And, you know, and pretty much at that point, he says that she was insulting his intelligence because I think with that talk that she was trying to do with that manipulation again, you know, and he called her out on it, you know, and I appreciate him calling her out on that.
Yeah, that's what when I saw that, I said, okay, that's my guy, because the way he just communicated that, you know, he was clear and concise, wasn't disrespectful, overbearing.
Exactly.
You know, he was to the point and, you know, really just threw it out there. So, you know, if she walked out of there and, you know, did not take heed to anything that he said, and, you know, if she continues down that same path, whatever happens, you know, she'll be well deserving of it.
Yeah, because my thought is real quick. She says that she's not insecure, but she's territorial. So is this being territorial or is this being insecure? Like,
That's
I
the
just
one way to cover up.
That's 100% insecure.
Yeah, because what does tickling his scrotum have to do with being territorial? I don't know. Maybe because they're her scrotums. I don't know.
Sure.
And you know, but he did expect her to be cool, and yeah.
And
she's not gonna fake smile. She's not gonna fake smile for him, you know, and he needs to find out where he wants to be. Sorry, I just wanted to finish my notes.
Yeah, I know. Just to give another perspective, though, I've seen this dynamic between a man and a woman, and
after what
I've seen that dynamic of like being berated by like things that aren't okay, and them being like the guy being like, and the woman just be like da 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 da, and those people have get married. And they're together. So it's all about where somebody is and what they want. So who knows?
Yeah.
Some people do want a mama. Some, you know, maybe that's what they needed. They were lacking that. And so they need a woman that's going to be like a mom, because I don't know. I'm just not taking it too deep, but you know what I mean? Like, each their own. Who knows? Ooh, that face. Did you really have to do that screenshot?
You know what? At this point, Gus, I'm not even going to lie. I'm tired. It's towards the end. I had to go take Sadora to taekwondo. I had to come back. I was like, I'm just going to take them. Click, 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 click. Look, this is what they caught. I'm not going to be like, wait a minute, oh my gosh, she doesn't look that cute in this picture. Or wait a minute, I don't got time for all that. I'm not editing. I ain't doing no photography. This ain't, no. So unfortunately, that was the shot that I got.
You captured it perfectly. That is exactly what the image energy was. So it's perfect.
Yeah. And it needs to give, and I want the screenshots to really give the energy from what we're watching. Like, it needs to just make sense. And that's the energy I got from it.
100%.
I think that's some other energy too. I mean,
100%.
I know that they're there to get to know each other and everything like that. And I know people are going to be like, no, we wasn't doing nothing. But that all of that she was giving, it just seemed like, I let you hit, and then you over here letting this girl rub the back of your head, and y'all gonna get up and walk in this. And I can't.
And like, let me show you what I felt like Randall's energy was.
Whatever. He's like, whatever. Hurry up and go. Hurry up and go. You done yet? Right. Whatever.
Yeah, I feel like he was like, this chick.
Yeah, facts.
Poor lady.
Can I ask a question to Kenya from Cali, who I love, by the way? She said, honestly, Gus, that's every married couple I know. They have a good time and lots of love too, but there are moments. Absolutely. That is what love and partnership is about. Yes. It's about pushing past those moments. What we're trying to say, though, is it's been 6 weeks, and this is out of insecurity. It's not actually out of like a genuine moment of like needing to grow together. It's a little too soon for that. But my question is, how old were those people when they got married, though? Because I noticed a huge discrepancy in people that got married when they were young, having a lot more of those moments, as to people, someone like Sabrina or P.O. or my age or Demita Joe, like who are older and choose to get married. We have lived a lot more life that those moments aren't so necessary. We should be able to communicate more effectively and better than to have those moments, so to speak. So that's like, like how old are those people? Because there's a huge difference. It just depends on the time and place and where you are in your life.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this. I was married and divorced. I was married when I was, I think, 20. I was like 28-ish. And so the things that I encountered when I was 28, it was that same energy. The difference is now, which I'm thankful for that relationship, because now when I look back, I'm like, oh man, this stuff here, been there, done that. Like, right. You think I'm not going down this path. So it really taught me a whole lot. And now when I think about, I was saying to myself the other day, how could I have even thought I could be married, as inexperienced as I was in terms of vulnerability, and even in tune with myself, I didn't know who I was. So, for me to try to define a wife, at that young age, and me not knowing who I am, how could I actually be successful in a relationship? And these are things that you learn in the aftermath when it's over. You go to your counseling, if you go. You go through some therapy and things like that, and you start to learn those things. And I think that, she's just not there yet. I think that she needs to actually, and there's nothing wrong with, doing some preventative things so that you don't run into those brick walls like I did, or, other folks did, trying to maintain relationships, and really unpack that energy and say, why am I doing this? Why am I, why is it that I have a problem with understanding what security looks like? Those sorts of things. She really needs to, I think, unpack that type of energy. And I think that will make her, successful in her relationships and even in her personal life.
And I give props to people who have been together since they were young and still chose to continue to grow and evolve and are still together for 25, 30, 40, 50 years. Like there's that situation too that is very admirable, and that's a beautiful thing. So, to each their own. I'm just saying we have a discrepancy for different situations.
No doubt.
Can I just say one thing in support of Jamala?
Yeah.
I think you can be confident and secure as a person, but not feel secure in a relationship or situation or partnership or potential partnership. I think a percentage of how secure we feel with someone, they provide or can provide. And I also want to point out, I just want to throw this out there. Jamala is the only one dealing with this weekend. None of the other women have gentleman connections who are being this allowing this much open affection with their other connections in front of them. Katie and Swayze are locked in. Samson only is affectionate with Charisse, and Kayla is only being affectionate with Randall. LJ isn't there. So it feels like everybody's booed up weekend, and you are in my face with this lady, and she's on your neck. So I think I just wanted to throw that out there.
But he was the only one with 3 connections right then.
That's true.
None of the other men have that many connections. So, I mean,
he's going through the process.
The whole
but
thing, I feel what you're saying, though. I like
100%. I agree with you, but it's different. Yeah. It seems like maybe someone who is as strong and poignant as she is, it might take her a little longer till she could be with somebody, because she kind of is going to always be that way, if that makes sense. And that there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, look at Sabrina, look at me, look at PO. We're look at Tamita Joe. It's just there's nothing wrong with two people being 18 and being like, we're gonna work through this together and be together forever, no matter what happens. And there's nothing wrong with people being like, I'm not gonna deal with anything till I'm 40 or till I'm 45 and have peace. So there's no right or wrong when it comes to love. And I just hope people understand that.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything else to say about Jamala and Randall and the scrotum scene?
I didn't see it. Did he touch? She touched?
They
No,
were
she
on
was
separate sides of the room.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I thought. I was like, weren't they like completely like?
She was
sabotage.
Wasn't he in New York and she was in Singapore? Like, I was really confused.
Oh,
I think that was Jamala's way of taking a jab, if you want to call it that. So, yeah, because I don't think no scrotums were being tickled, to be honest with you.
I don't think so either.
I really hope my daughter doesn't watch this back. She's gonna be like, "Mommy, what's this?"
Randall was even confused, like tickle him.
Right, exactly. I think that at that moment he was like, really? Yeah.
But isn't that concerning? Because to me, that means you're making shit up. To me, that means like you might be a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
You picking,
like you're making shit up out of
you
nothing.
trying to get me to have a reaction, and I don't appreciate it.
Right.
But you're also making something up. It makes me wonder what your reality really is, because
so that's but that's what I call sabotage. I mean, you just
sabotaging,
sabotaging.
And I feel like Jamala really, really likes Randall, and I really feel like that they would have been good together. But this episode, she showed her booty, and I feel like this episode made him realize, I'm not trying to deal with this. Like, I'm ready to love. I don't think I'm ready to love her.
And we've all been there, so we get it. We've all self-sabotaged a situation and messed up. It happens. And we're just witnessing it on national TV. So I'm going to just applaud everybody that, like all of you that have been on the show and are willing to be on the show and let us talk about you and witness what your journey looks like. I take my hat off to all of you every single time, because that is brave and it's incredible. So, another disclaimer: we're not here to hurt you or cause any harm. Like, we're all growing and learning from this experience together.
And I'll say this, because I know that I was on, I know what it feels like to be on the other side of this panel. I intentionally try to make sure that I view it from the lens of somebody that has been on the show, as well as the audience members. So, sometimes when I say edit, it's not that I'm trying to blame, and try to, mask what behaviors are going on, but I'm just being optimistic because that happens. And I've been on the side of that where it happened often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else to say about this scene before we move forward? Okay. So everyone sits down and they are about to have an amazing dinner that they all cooked. I don't know who all cooked it, but they cooked it. And Shanika does start to tell her story. And she does mention that between the ages of 25 to 35, she was really wanting true love and she was unsuccessful. She said that she cried every day for 3 months and Randall was sitting beside her. He did get emotional after hearing her story and he did start to cry. Would anyone like to speak about the scene here?
I'm getting emotional right now. The fact that she had the courage to share herself. So many people can take that as a weakness and can judge her for being that way. Right. But I know as somebody who has chosen to grow, that takes, and the way she approached it and the way she verbalized it showed the strength that she has gained from being defeated, that she's learned how to win from it. If I would have been crying like Randall was. It was such a beautiful thing. And from what the little that I know when I watched her on this, from watching her on this, she really seems like she's down for the growth and to be the real deal, like really wants it. I really think that she's ready. She's still trying to figure it out. Like her friends, she's not trusting her own voice a little bit. We're witnessing her friends think he's good, but she's like, I don't know. And I've made bad choices in the past, but I don't know. In short, that was so courageous. I've been there. Yeah. I get it. And I know, and I hope that she gets the love that she deserves.
Yeah. I mean, she was super brave for doing what she did. I mean, it's not easy, for you to go in front of an audience this large and then tell them your innermost. But one thing I also saw was when Randall cried, or when Randall had the tear coming down, I don't think that Randall had that tear because he felt bad or felt sorry for her. I think that he did that because he identified with what she was struggling with as well. And because Randall seems like a very in tune person and, with his feelings, and he's very articulate when he speaks and when he talks about how he feels. A lot of times people will express themselves and they'll say it in an angry tone, and then the words come out just angry, and it doesn't really create clarity. But he's very, very tactful with the words that he uses when he's talking to people and letting them know how he feels. So I think there was a moment where he's probably said, you know what, I was there before. I went through that before, and I know how that felt, and I know how you must feel going through that now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Styran, I'm sorry, I've disagreed with you this whole panel, this whole time, and that's okay. We could disagree, but I don't see your perspective and your point of view, and that's cool. But you're allowed to have your own. But I think the point of the matter is that she cried for 3 months. That was her healing process. Mm-hmm. She chose to delve into the depths of the dark night for her and come out on the other side. That in itself doesn't have a time barrier or limit to when you are accessible then to receive what you deserve and what you want.
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, guys. I was looking, for some reason all my pictures didn't come on. I commend her for definitely opening up and being vulnerable. And it just reminds me of what you guys said earlier about how you want to get back to like the basics. You want to get back to a real reality TV show that's about love and finding love and something that's real. And I felt like just for that one little instance, just that little window gave us a glimmer of hope to say, maybe it's coming back. And I felt like with that episode, that scene, it gave us that hope that it can really still happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because her sitting at the table and you know, a lot of people, I always said I'm going to write a book, which actually I am. But you know, I've gone through a lot of things, in my life.
Me three.
If I sat into, I've told my story to so many people, and most of the time they're just like they can't believe it that I really went through what I went through. And like I'm here today and I'm still so positive out of everything that I've been through that was so bad, that was meant to break me down. And it's like when she shared her story and we only got to see 35 seconds of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was like Randall just didn't cry from 35 seconds of her saying, oh my God, yeah, I wanted love. I didn't find it. And
Totally.
I cried for you know, 3 months. Oh, boo-hoo. And he's like, oh my God. And he starts crying. No, it was probably a whole 45-minute scene that she sat and told her story. And we only got a glimpse, and we were honored to only get a glimpse of it, you know, and obviously it was important enough for them to show that Randall cried from it. Mm-hmm. It was a lot deeper, you know, and I commend him for showing us that real men do cry.
100%, 1,000%.
I loved him for that. I love that they showed that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, kudos, bravo. I love that. I loved everything about it. So that's what I have to say.
Yeah.
People keep talking about how she's not ready because she's making bad choices. I think she's a victim of just the people here aren't the right ones for her, and she's doing the process and trying to figure out if what's here for her. I don't think she would have chose these people correct. It's just like, come on, people.
They picked the
open your mind a little bit. 100%.
She got there, they were there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And she's doing what she's supposed to be doing. You know, like, and through all that, she's still choosing to be open and vulnerable and make an effort. I think that's more than a lot of people would be willing or capable of doing.
No doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Shanika's a really genuine person. Mm-hmm. And the part when Randall cried, I feel like that it was probably a lot more than we missed, like you said, because at one point he had the tear and then he didn't have a tear. And then you kind of see that he was crying. So they probably were talking for a minute. Like, but what I thought was interesting about that scene was that in my mind, I would have, if I was Jamala, I'd have been like, okay. And if I was Kayla, I'd have been like, okay, this is something. You know what I'm saying? Because
exactly. Like, and that's what I don't know if you were on with us, Demita, when I said that. When he started crying, I'm sure they both kind of like was like, did we miss something? Like, where she come from? Why they like what? Hold on. Like now we got her. Like, like that's
I mean, because to me, it takes a lot for a man to be okay doing that in that setting and being okay with it and doing it anyway. So I was just like, oh. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christopher he says, if LJ says slept with his ex less than a month ago, a healed person would immediately have X'd him off the list. I don't know if you were listening earlier or not, Christopher, but like that's kind of the thing is you're here hoping that people are like ready to change and really are just human still, right? I think that's actually testament to Jamala's humanity. Is she's saying like, okay, we're all still human. We all make mistakes, as opposed to just being like, done. I think I've been the person that's just been like, done. And that never really got me anywhere. So I think, you know, she's dealing with the circumstances at hand of what she has available. And he could have been, Randall could have been the one that cut the onions, and he could have just been crying for that for all we know, and, you know, PO from what production was pushing for him. So,
yeah. Yeah, there's that.
You know?
Right.
Right.
So I just want to give a shout out to Honey, anybody that saw this scene. I was like, let me rewind. And I never, when I'm doing my notes and my pictures and stuff, I normally don't rewind. I be like, if I ain't get it, I ain't get it. I got other stuff I need to get. But this, I was like, I need to get this. Did y'all see this?
I saw that. I was like,
I'm
hold
telling
up.
you.
Honey, and then
no, I'm
look,
with you.
That.
look, Mike
He's
was
that person.
look, it was so fast to the point where I rewinded it a couple times. And this is as clear as I got it.
Yep.
And shout out to production, because we've been talking so much
time.
about production. They caught this.
Yes.
And
Oh
they
my
gave
But don't we
it to
see a
it.
glimpse of this and
Crazy.
then like what
That's
we see
crazy.
like and I think I'm
Sorry.
myself. No, I'm sorry. Look at that. That is a man that is scared to love the right person possibly and is like, I'm gonna resist, but I see you.
Mhm.
I don't know. I want to know what happened in this part, because the way that I saw it, I saw her face looks like, give me your
She's sick
hand.
of it.
And then he kind of did like a little chuckle, like, oh, that's how you acting or whatever. But I don't know. But the way that it looks, when you go to the next picture, it looks like he's just like really looking at her, really feeling her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
You know
toxic.
why? Because they
It's
One
smashed.
word. Toxic.
Yeah.
Because they
Toxic.
smashed. That's why.
Sabrina, all the smash
100,000%.
conspiracies.
Well, Kayla said herself that
Mo-
by the time all of this stuff was going on, a lot of people were doing everything or all the things.
Who?
Kayla said that. She didn't say who, but she just said
No,
a
I
lot.
want to know who was smashing.
Oh, I don't know. She didn't say.
Yeah, we'll have to get them, bait them into a conversation.
Yes, please.
That's what I'm saying. When people fly off the handle about certain things, I just feel like, you're invested in a certain way because something happened. You know what I mean? It's not anything wrong with it, but you have to be cognizant of the fact that you catch feelings when you get intimate and you might trip. And I feel like some of that's going on with certain people.
Yeah, you got people like, man, he just woke up out of my bed and he all over there on you. Oh, okay, you ain't say that last night.
But I think this episode too, or the next episode, I think it started this episode where she got hip. She's like, and she's sick of it, honestly. She's sick of it.
Right,
So,
right.
I can see that.
Cheryl.
Yeah, I think she got hip this episode too, because she was actually saying what it is. Like, he's not doing this and he's not doing that, and she's having all these realizations. So I do think she's also another person that was really open at that point where she had the friend date, and she was really open to like, okay, I got to do something different than I normally do here. You know what I mean? And so I think she is one of the ones that's going to learn something about herself. I think Gus said it earlier. She's going to learn something about herself and she'll be fine.
She's been hip this whole time, you guys. She's just been resisting it. She's not been trusting that she needs, like, she's known this whole time. Yep.
So in this scene, real quick, moving forward, Mike talks about marrying his childhood love. He said that he's already been there. He's been to where we want to go, or we're trying to go. He says that he is just looking for an outlet, that he is the plug. What we trying to get, he already got. He says now he's trying to find his soulmate again. Brandy says that he was being vulnerable and it meant a lot to her for him to open up and to say that. Your thoughts on this scene?
My thoughts is you had to go to Will Packer for that if you the plug. I mean, let's be clear. It sounds nice, right? It sounds like a pretty cool line to say or whatever, but if you had this, like, there's so many women that are vulnerable out there. Miami is, in particular, women, they're out there. What has taken so long? Why are you here if you possess all of this stuff? Now, I'm not saying that, he can't just throw his hat in the ring and try something new, try something different. But I mean, I don't know that he's all the way together as he thinks he is, because based off of the way that these connections have been on and off, that sort of deal, you're not living up to your own hype.
He sounds like someone who's still hurt and injured.
Right.
from that past situation.
Yeah.
And he's treating Kayla accordingly and the other women.
No doubt.
I didn't understand what he meant by, I already had it. Y'all are looking for it. Okay, so but you don't have it now and you're trying to find it again. So like
exactly. Like we all on the same boat. What you talking about?
It just seemed like she thought he was Brandy thought he was like, oh, he opened up, and I was just like, well, maybe he said more that we just didn't get to hear, because I was just like, what does that mean? You the plug. But you're not, what?
Honey, well, when you trying to figure that out, find out what he meant by he just need an outlet. He just want an outlet.
Right.
I mean, I can chalk that up to.
But you trying to plug? You do. I know what an outlet is.
I'm a plug. I got a thingy, and I'm looking for some. Yeah, I took it like that.
What's the wattage?
Right.
It's like, I'm looking for an outlet. I'm looking for what you say I am.
I said my theory is that, women, we can love infinitely, right? We can fall in love, be in love, that could end, and we're ready to love again. And that could literally happen 100 times in our lifetime. I believe that men are very different. I think it only happens for them once or twice. And so after they have experienced it, they don't go into a new situation like, oh, this is going to be a shiny new magical thing. I think, they're a lot of times just looking to check boxes, right? And then it's just about the companionship. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I just wanted to just interject and say this. Men, it's like we're like vehicles, right? If you wreck the whole entire car, right? And there's all these pieces. There's normally, when you're in an accident that big, there's injury. Now, you don't have to go to the hospital. You can sit at home and heal. But when you heal, you'll never heal right, because, if you got broken bones and they didn't get addressed the right way, they'll heal, but they will be off. So the thing is that there's that wrecked car, and we're not healing all the way from that. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so sometimes we try to function as if we're back together again. And so we don't take the time out for a moment and say, you know what? I was an ass in this situation. Here's some of the things that I need to address so that I can be more successful in my relationships going forward. Yes, this person brought the worst out in me, but why did I allow that to happen? Things like that.
It's like when you're in an accident and you're like, it wasn't my fault, but it really was your fault.
Yeah.
And I hear both of you completely, because I understand and relate to both of you entirely. I guess that's just the perks of being a homosexual, but I understand both of you. Like those both resonate as complete truth to me. Took me I didn't want to love more than twice at all. But at the same time, like everything P.O. just said too. So it's quite the, quite the situation.
Honey, I love 100 times. You keep treating me right, I love you. And then when you stop doing it right, I won't love you no more.
Yeah, no, and I've done that too. That's the thing, like that's the discernment. Yeah. The discernment.
I'd be like, him love me. I love him too. I was like, he did what? Oh no, I can't love him no more.
What'd you say, Devin? What, Devin?
Oh my
God. Gus, Samson
What?
or Devin, if you had to go with just one. One.
What if we were in a throuple?
You're gonna say that. I'm like, he's not gonna be able to choose.
A throuple it is.
I don't know enough about Devin. We didn't get to see enough about him to know where he is, like, up here.
Yeah.
He's my type because he's an athlete and he's good looking. Samson is my type because he's emotionally intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I could just blend them both together.
Honey, I say that too about the men.
Right? Can we all be like a little like, if we could just get that all together in one situation
together, it'd be perfect.
Nice.
I'm surprised too with Devin, because for some reason I thought and I predicted him to go very far. from the
So
beginning
did
of the
I.
season. I didn't bet on that, but I did predict it. And you know, and then they kind of gotten rid of him early. And I was thinking to myself, you know, all of this drama that, you know, that he was bringing, I thought it would be like kind of the
Totally.
highlight of the season. And I think when he got off, it went boring for a few episodes.
Mhm.
Agreed.
And it got really, really slow. And it
He was
really
the
didn't-
Corey of the season.
yeah.
Mhm.
100%.
Yep, absolutely. That's what I thought of him as. So Mike and Randall sit down in the very next scene. Do y'all want to say anything about this? Pretty much he was just kind of giving him, you know, advice, etc. And he was saying that he was the one going through, or Randall was saying he was the one going through the most out of anyone. And he just was, yeah, pretty much that was it. So did y'all have anything?
I don't have much on that one.
Yeah, he said
No,
he
but-
Mhm.
Sorry. But in this scene, he did say that he learned about Jamala and that she is more sensitive than the hard exterior that she portrays. So I feel like that was part of him realizing, okay, you know, she's not, you know, she's the hard candy with the soft center or whatever. I feel like that's what he was coming with.
I just don't know if Mike is the right person to be taking advice from at this point, from what I knew.
So, but
Good
do you
answer.
think they had this conversation naturally, or they were like given like a subject to talk about?
Totally. Well, I am not a black woman, Devin. I am a Latino and white male.
Oh God! So I am Transcendent says, "Would y'all like to hear a secret?" Yes, we would.
Yes.
So,
Transcend us, boo. Transcend
yeah,
us.
Transcend us. This is a safe place. Go ahead and stick it in the comments so I can put it on the screen. Yeah, I do remember. He did say that about Jamala, and then it was like, then it started to confuse me because then it made me feel like, okay, now is he saying she was just playing? All right, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just gotta be patient with her. That's my boo. We gonna work it out. Like, it made me feel like he was like kind of backpedaling, and that one scene was like letting us know Jamala's not out. Like,
Correct.
he's gonna
I agree.
continue to move forward, just like you said,
Yeah.
Gus earlier, giving her grace. And I think that scene was just letting us know that's what he was doing. So.
And I really believe in this situation rightfully shows she deserves it. I mean, come on, y'all. Like, that's a lot to deal with in person. You know, like, you're right. We all know. We already talked about that, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought you was going to tell us something that we...
Yeah, we already know that. We know that because, you know how I know that? That's why I keep shooting my shot. And if Jamie was on here, she'd be laughing because I don't do this ever. I don't ever shoot my shot. I am very much like, as Tyrone would say, he's like, Gus needs a man that's going to come up and just sweep him off his feet. Like, he needs to have, and I'm like, yes, sir. But he said in the very first episode, he's like, he intentionally said, my person.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say a woman, a girl. He intentionally said my person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I know that he must be. He has to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Does anyone have anything else to say about the Randall and Mike scene? No.
It was a good scene.
Yeah, I was reading this. Someone said, who was watching Randall and Mike in the background?
Somebody was in the background?
Oh, the picture they posted.
They were in the house.
You already
Yes,
know
yes.
it was Jamala. Remember? She got the GPS tracking. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm going to put the picture back up. Y'all already knew it was Jamala. I don't know why y'all was asking.
That's why you picked that picture.
Hold on. Because I got two pictures. Let me see. Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's Jamala. I don't know how
That's
to blow.
That's kind of low-key serial killer sneaky vibes. Like, I'm a little
Well, then,
scared.
what
Like,
the hell she can hear what
just
they're
like
saying?
sitting in the corner like,
Okay, somebody else is sitting right there too with her, but still.
True. I see that now. You sure is that a
See
pillow?
somebody's head.
It's Katie.
Yeah,
No.
maybe.
That's Jamala in a orange and red pillow.
But it's something else right there too.
Yeah, I think it's Katie. I think she's on the couch with Katie in.
But that's
Oh,
still they're really close to be. Once
And you
again,
can
like
still,
the
you know,
GPS
never mind.
alert.
We totally have conversations and still can hear what's going on over here. So
100%. She
still
has
can be
Find My
trusted.
iPhone on for sure. Her iPhone was like, "It's right here. Your iPhone is right here," and she was like, "Okay."
right. Oh, it was from this scene, y'all. I was tripping when Samson kissed Charisse. I don't know why I thought that was from the next episode. It was from this episode. That was from the very next morning. So moving forward, that the very next morning they wake up. Brandy's in the bed with or having a conversation with Mike. Samson's in the pool. Charisse kisses Mike. Then Tommy walks in and pretty much, lets them know or talks to the lady and says, "Let me talk to the ladies." They sit around. They discuss exactly who their strongest connections are and who their weakest connections are. And of course, a decision has to be made. Does anyone want to talk about Brandy and Mike in the bed, Samson and Charisse having a kiss, and anything from the ladies' meeting because they weren't in the lounge?
Did we talk about Brandy already?
Not really.
I don't think there's anything wrong with her. I think when she was telling, like, Samson was like, "I am this and this is what I want, and that's not right for you. That's great." I was like, "Yeah, girl, stay, twerk your life away. Like, you be you. You don't need to change. That's a part of that's what comes with your package, and somebody should want and buy that for sure." I just kind of feel like she's forcing connections in these things. I'm not so sure. Her person is here. Am I the only one in that?
I don't know. So I heard Brandy say one thing, which was very shocking to me. So I think she's what, 33? 33.
Yeah,
She said that she's never been in love
Yep.
before.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very, very shocking because to me, then what the hell have you been doing all of these years? Because even kitty love, like, you have your high school, you have your your eighth grade boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Like, how is this possible? You're 33 years old and you've never had it. So were you not interested? Is your way of affection just physical? Like, because there has to be some components that are missing. Like, what the hell? Like, I don't get it.
Well, we don't know. She didn't specify if she's had, baby love or lust or, all the other things.
She said she's never been in love before.
But maybe she was saying, "I've never been in love before." Like, she hasn't experienced like that. And maybe she's saying she experienced the latter of the things that wasn't real love. And maybe she was consuming herself with those type of situations. I'm not saying that's it. I'm saying that could be a possibility.
Yeah,
but
I just thought
I don't
that
know.
was
I think it's interesting too.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, wait a minute. What? Because even like, yeah, as a man, I was like 18 and I was in love. Like, the first time I had my heart broken was when I was like 18. Mm-hmm. So, and I was like all in, you know what I mean? No other women, no nothing. I was, all in 100%. And I mean, women are more in tune emotionally, to feelings and things like that. And even if, like, maybe not at 18, maybe by 21, maybe by 27, you hit 30, I'm like, you haven't experienced like that sort of thing of having your heart broken or anything. Like, for me, that would be like, okay, well, you need to get out in the field and get messed up. And then when you get your heart broke, come holler at me then, because then we can grow together. Because, yeah, I wouldn't want anybody that has never had that.
I think she was qualifying it a specific way. The last time we heard her really talk about her past relationships was when Charisse had the Taco Tuesday, and she was talking to Randall, and what she said was, I had a boyfriend, like I was their girlfriend, but they weren't my boyfriend. So I think she means that she's been in situations where she was the one investing, she was the one, but it was never like mutual and equal. And so I think that could be what she meant by that.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that might be one of the Packer people creating that perspective, or I'm sorry, the
Mhm.
I don't
editors,
think
the
so.
producers, or whatever.
That was my
I
intent.
mean,
That's what I had just said. I was like, I think that's what she was trying to say. I think she's trying to be clear and being like, I haven't been in love. Like
Mm.
I haven't. And that was interesting what you were saying, P.O., because it's interesting how a girl at 18 is a little more emotionally intelligent, so she's not going to fall in love so quickly. And then maybe later on she will, but the boy who was 18 fell in love, and so then he ends up being guarded for such a long time, and they play this game of cat and mouse. It's interesting how that works out.
right. Yeah. Yeah, that's something. I mean, for me, if had I had been, in on that show or whatever, and somebody told me that, I would be like, okay, well, I don't want nothing to do with you. You said you ain't never been loved before, because you don't know how
But
to
the definition's
handle.
different, though. The definition's
Understood,
different.
understood,
Yeah.
understood. But if I looked at it in that raw perspective, and I mean, we probably need a window in uh to what she truly meant. Because, like I said, it could have been a statement that was isolated to make us feel like she hasn't been in love
Copy
at
that.
all. And like you said, we only go off of what we see, right?
Yeah,
And
100%.
so, yeah, so when that happened, I was like, ugh, but hopefully that, it's more along the lines of I loved other people, but they didn't love me back. Therefore, there was no love, or I was not in love. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, she strikes me just as a woman that has, like everything you just said, I am, who was been injured and given more than she's received. And she's like, I haven't experienced love. I
Yeah.
want the genuine reciprocation of love.
Yeah, but then if you're always twerking too, you can't twerk your way to love.
Hey, I still twerk when I feel like it. Ain't nothing
I
wrong with
mean-
twerking.
Hey, no
That's
twerk
nice.
shaming.
Well,
No twerk shaming. That's
No,
called being in tune
no.
with your inner child and still pretending you
No.
hear,
I mean, though,
a song
if
at a
you're-
prom that sets you off. Like, back that
Listen.
thing up, juvenile.
I don't twerk no more. I got arthritis.
We know P.O. don't like that. He would have told
He
us
doesn't like
tone
twerking.
it down a little bit, like he told Princess.
Like, that's what Samson told. That's what
listen,
Samson
yeah.
told Brandy.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, ease up on the twerking.
He
a
said
little
we
bit.
defined each other just slightly differently.
See, Samson and I would never work because he wouldn't appreciate my twerking skills, but Devin would.
Yeah. Oh shit.
It's not easy, actually, but that's a separate conversation.
It's great. It's a craft.
Sweetie.
It's an art
Michelle
form.
says, I have a question. Do you all get hair and makeup professionally done?
Oh,
So,
Michelle.
yeah. So real quick, I'm gonna leave this up. So real quick, we do our own hair. We do our own makeup. We do have makeup artists that are there to do touch-ups. If we have time, if no one else, if it's the last person, the makeup artist is still there, and the cast member that's there that's about to go into the green screen, like for example, Brandy, remember when she had the green and the yellow
Yeah,
with her eyes, and it was like pow, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I like that.
Guess what? The makeup artist had
Makeup
time,
artist.
and so did Brandy. Because I follow the makeup artist that worked with that. Yeah. So I know she did Brandy's makeup. But for the most part, if it's 6 of us waiting to do our green screen, they're not going to sit and do a full face of makeup. You know what I mean? But they are there for touch-ups. All our clothes we do. our hair, we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't do any. We do everything. We pay for everything.
Yeah.
I was
I hated
complaining
that.
about that the first season, but then I thought about it and I said, you know what? That's real though, because if I'm a dude and I'm dating these women,
Agreed.
I don't want to see you all
On camera, right?
You know, made up, and then we start dating in real life, and I'm like, who is this bride?
Right,
Mhm.
exactly.
So I think they
100%.
should let people, you know, I mean, because we all have different levels of, you know, the makeup game. So I think that they should.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
And if you end up looking crazy on TV, I mean, half of that got to do with the lights, but you know.
Facts.
And I have actually said this in one of my lives, and I'm going to say it now just because we're discussing it. If you guys ever go on a reality TV show or anywhere, just for an event, and you're going to be outside, when you are applying your makeup, put your makeup on in front of the window. Do not go to the bathroom. Put your makeup on in natural light, and it'll make sense when you actually step outside.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Good tip.
Yep, very good tip. That's how it works.
Yeah. So I've been showing clips. Let's go ahead and move forward. So Tommy meets up with everyone. He sits and he talks to the ladies. I know you guys have been looking at the screenshots that I've been putting up, just trying to go ahead and just expedite this situation. He does call Samson, child, Lord have mercy, I'm exhausted, and Swayze. And in Swayze's head, he's thinking, I'm gonna be eliminated. He said it when they were in the kitchen. He's like, oh, I'm probably gonna go home. He's like, I only have one connection. You know how it go. And he's absolutely right. And that possibly could have been the case. It's crazy because I know how I feel about Katie, how I felt about Katie and their connection. But I really hope that they make it, because after seeing them interact with each other on camera, now we get to see it. I think it's so sweet and so loving. And I hope that they, and it looks real. And I hope that they do make it. Just want to put that out there. But we do have Samson, which was called. He looked devastated. He looked like, who put me on y'all tripping? You putting Samson on the He was
right. I'll taught you romance.
Honey, exactly. I done coached all y'all. No, stop.
My gift back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we do have them two on the bottom. Let's discuss that real quick before we conclude. How did you feel about the two that they chose to be on the bottom?
You know what? I'll only tell you from experience, right? Because I've been on the bottom strategically several times.
Yes, you
So
have.
yeah. So, I won't get into how they even get to those decisions, but I'll say this. I'll say that they put those two on the bottom because they knew that they both had something on the line. That one connection with Charisse, and we know we're like, oh well, if Charisse, if Samson goes, then Charisse will have no other connection. And then we said the same thing about what's her face, so all in all, here's the end of the day. Tommy is going to say this. This is a curveball situation where he's going to say nobody's going to get eliminated.
Yeah.
We need these people to spend a little bit more time with your connections and move forward. And if you looked at the previews from next episode, Samson's on that. He's on that. So you have that. But I trust and believe nobody's going home. And if anybody was going to go home, it was going to be LJ.
I agree.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be anybody else but him. But they couldn't put LJ on the chopping block because he's not there. And so they want to wait until they get his ass in real life and then cut him. Simple as that.
I agree. I thought they both should be on the block at this point, because from what I'm seeing. I know that Swayze has his thing going on, and I think they fit together. I think, you know, it's a love language that I would never be able to. Um, it's not the language I would speak in a partnership, but I think they speak each other's language, and I think it works. But it's good for the drama for the show. And Samson just isn't, from what they're showing us, showing up enough. There's not enough depth. There's not enough for me to think like, you know, what does he really push through to have with Charisse? So I thought it was a good little cliffhanger, but yeah, neither of them are leaving. Let's be honest. They're both staying.
Yeah.
Like you just said. Yeah.
And think about this here. I mean, we can't get away from the intensive purposes of the show, which is Ready to Love, finding couples that find it at the beginning and makes it to the end, and then they have their story, right? So if you get rid of Samson, you're basically throwing a great story away between Charisse, because then, you know, obviously she's got to go because nobody else is going to be there. And then it's the same thing with Swayze. You know, you're telling that story from the very beginning to the end, you know, and this is what America wants to see. They want to see the beginning, the nurturing, and then the resolution, which is at the end, right? And so they're not going to give up that good story, you know, for the fairness of quote unquote said process. Do you know what I mean? They're going to say, okay, we're going to allow this to continue. Now, obviously, LJ has no skin in the game anymore. We see that because he's already, you know, had his girlfriend or whatever she is, his side piece, tell on him. And, you know, the women, they want their shot at the bullseye. They want to throw darts at him and see which one can get him in his ass. You know what I mean? And so at the end of the day, they're going to give these women their just due. Probably after, because, you know, there's going to be a brunch after the you know, some sort of group meeting after the getaway, right? And they're going to line him up, and then they're going to take their shots at him. So yeah, it you know, is what it is. And I just don't think that LJ has any more of a storyline. There'll probably be 4 couples that makes it to the end this season. And you know, there'll probably be Mike, Swayze. Yeah, it's gonna be the rest of the guys, basically. Yeah, it'll be 4 couples.
Yeah.
I don't see them getting rid of Samson, or definitely not Randall. And Mike has his, you know, pretty much, I think he's got it in the bag. I mean, obviously, because here's the thing. If you looked at Mike, you would say, well, wait a minute, you know, he's not being forthcoming or whatever with these connections that he has. However, he wasn't on the bottom at all. So that tells me that Mike is going to be, you know, probably that contender to make it all the way to the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think Mike was kind of like you, though, in your season, where you're kind of like,
yep,
he needs to make it to the end because you kind of need that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If not, throw the whole show away. Just throw it away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just to the point now. It's like, we got to have people left, or it's no show.
You know, and surprisingly, though, I haven't seen one self-elimination this season.
Not yet.
Right.
Mm-mm.
And which I'm shocked, because, I mean, like I said, when I want to say maybe episode 6 for me, or 6 or 7, I was like over it. And I was still trying to, you know, hang in there, but I was like, I don't know. You know, I think I'm almost ready to be all the way on the train.
Yeah.
And
I don't think I ever said,
we could tell.
Yeah, but I don't think I ever said this, but I actually tried to self-eliminate too.
Yeah.
Twice, as a matter of fact. Twice, once by myself, and the second time was at the house trip when they course,
Yeah,
trying
same.
to get rid of my connection, which was going to have to make me self-eliminate, cahoots or whatever the case may have been. But and I literally told producers, I said, if he's getting eliminated, then I'm going with him. And I said, and it's already going to happen. And I'm like, because, you know, they're going to all vote in that direction. So, and he literally got up 6 o'clock that morning, put his bags in the car, because we knew, and it was more of them than it was of me and, you know, us. So, and they had the majority votes, and then they voted, of course, to where he was not ready to love. And
Right.
but I had already told the producers ahead of time, like I had a whole conversation with them. I was like, so this is what's about to happen. They're gonna all vote this way, and when that happens, I'm a self-eliminate. And they was
So, but I'll tell you something. I mean, and this is being completely honest, and I'm not trying to, dog the show out, but the the votes, the elimination votes or whatever, never counted. Like, I thought that they used toilet paper math to figure out who goes home because, sort of like the one roll of theirs equals two of theirs, and two rolls of theirs is four of theirs. I didn't know how to count. There was only like 5 people, and I'm thinking, well, okay, if you have this many votes and that person has this many votes, then the person with this many votes should be staying, and this many votes should be leaving. But that wasn't the case. And I'm like, shit, I don't know how to count anymore.
I just think, and that was one thing that I had to realize, because it was frustrating for me in the beginning, because I didn't really understand the concept and how it was supposed to work. Because I'm like, wait a minute, I sat there with 7 other women, and it clearly is that person should be going home, but somebody else goes home.
Right.
But I think what it is they just want our input. They want to film our input. They want to, kind of see. But at the end of the day, they're producing the show. We're just in it.
Yeah,
So,
well, realistically though, and that's true with like a lot of these other shows, production ultimately has the decision on who's leaving, regardless of who we wanted to stay. And I'll
right.
tell you something, when we went to on our getaway, and you can go back on the tapes and just check this out. But the trip before our getaway, where Tommy says, all right, why don't you take these ladies out and take them, far away and whatever. So during that whole thing, he goes, okay, so Carmen's on the bottom. All right. Meanwhile, we never even brought Carmen's name up. We said the whole entire the group of men said Tina should go home. And I remembered he was like, no, you gotta, I don't think you guys know. And Tori was like, wait a minute, what you mean? We know. I mean, we all said Tina needs to leave. What we got to take her for? And they was like, no, go ahead and figure it out. So we thought when we watched it back that they was going to show that, but they had Tommy come in there and say, okay, so when we left, they're like, all right, so Carmen's on the bottom, okay. And then boom, we was just gone. So they figure out how they want to, write the story. But I thought that was interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, does anyone want to conclude on this scene with Tommy and Samson being on the bottom with Swayze?
We'll see you next week, Samson. And Swayze, we'll see you there too.
Yeah.
I'm
Bye,
excited
LJ.
to see what Swayze does with,
I want to know what's going to happen, because I said it last episode. I've been saying it every episode. Swayze and Kadian are in a whole relationship all over social media. I feel like she's like, whatever to the producers, we gonna do us, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
Because I feel like something shady happened on the show, and they're like being rebels, and they like, screw it, we don't need the show, we got each other now, let's make our own show. That's how I feel. So I feel like Swayze's going to get eliminated, or Kadian is, and they like, yeah, well, we got something for y'all. And that's just
okay. So
Yeah.
Swayze could be going home next week.
something for Kadian to be the way that she is.
Right.
Just
I think I
putting
would say
their
this.
relationship out there. And I heard some lives she did too, but I'm not going to get into all that because I didn't see him. If I saw him or whatever, then I would be like,
Right.
yes, but I didn't even see him. I just heard. So,
Well, I'll say this. I think something may have occurred during that reunion because that's when the stuff they induce things and they have other people ready to go and whatever, and somebody
the
probably
producers are
didn't
for.
like what they said or how they got represented or whatever at the reunion, and and then they went off.
And they were like,
Because-
"Oh, we can play that game too."
right, exactly. Like, oh well, we ain't going. Well, okay, well we just gonna handle our biz in the real world. So f y'all.
And Black Tornado, Cadian is that girl 100%. I would expect nothing less from Cadian.
Right,
be
and
like-
so yeah, and the reason why I say that is because I don't think that Katie and Swayze were showcasing their relationship up front. I think that happened later on, and we normally film the reunion 2 or 3, 4 episodes in, and that seems about the timeline when they started to really showcase that relationship.
Absolutely.
I don't
That's what I
know.
observed as well.
Stacy or Styran, I don't know how to say that. Cadian was acting like that before they filmed the reunion, though.
See, someone told me, so I went to her page and I looked because I don't follow Katie and I don't follow Swayze, so I didn't even know. Somebody just told me, or I saw it on a Facebook post or something like that, and they posted the pictures, and I was like, "What?" This was a while ago, because I've been saying this at least for the last 3.5, maybe a month now. Like they in a whole relationship.
Damn.
Yeah,
And they're cute. They're very, very cute.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm here for it. At first I wasn't, but now I'm here for it. They're cute.
Yeah.
oh, she posted their relationship before the show started.
Oh wow. I didn't.
I
Even
didn't know that. Yeah.
But she seems like that kind of girl. She seems like that girl that would not follow the
Damn.
rules.
I think there's I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I thought that there was some type of repercussions, like,
There are.
financial
Yeah,
repercussions.
there are. There
Right.
are. But
You're-
at the end of the
you're
day,
not
is she worth
in the
them paying
contract.
all their lawyers thousands and thousands of dollars because she want to do what she want to do? They like, we got bigger fish to fry. These
Yeah,
contracts for somebody that's trying to sue us, like, yeah, because she
Right.
want to post their relationship. They like, we don't care. Guess what? We
Well-
still see the ratings. We still going. They don't care.
Did you see the amount of money that they wanted if you did breach that, though?
You know what? I don't think I don't. think
They say that, I think, to scare you, but they don't usually.
Well, I was
You know.
scared because I don't feel like the number that I had that I was quoted was 750 bands.
I
And
knew
I
it was
mean-
a lot. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, and I don't really get 750 bands laying around to be playing with these kids.
Totally.
Yes, you do.
Totally.
Don't
Yeah.
lie
You
to
know.
us.
You heard IMPO.
What they say? What she said?
She
He
said, "Don't
probably
lie."
has them in his pocket right now.
Mhm.
Don't front.
He like, I got
Don't
$7.
front.
I don't know nothing about
We
that.
see that production studio behind you.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, no doubt about it. But it ain't active right now.
That's because you got big
Yeah.
things. You working on big things right now.
I'm
That's
working on
why.
something large
Writing
right
your
now.
book.
Yeah, the book too. Yeah, the book deal. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, make sure y'all cop that book on from Amazon. It's gonna be out in 2000 in February.
Stupid.
And for a second, I
I hate
was
you.
tired because I was like,
I hate
2000.
you.
I was like, what year is that? You know I'm tired.
2000 in
Golly.
February. That's good.
Oh my
That needs
god.
to be one of your songs.
There it is.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys. We are going to wrap up. Did you guys have anything else to say to conclude with Ready to Love Miami, episode number 9? No?
Thank you for having me again. It's always
Yes.
a pleasure. Loved you. Jamita Joe, great to see you again. Love you, of course. P.O., it was an absolute pleasure and surprise, and I really enjoyed
Yeah.
this. And Sabrina,
No doubt. No doubt,
Yeah.
my man.
Absolutely.
For sure.
All right. So you guys know I do it in the very, very beginning and I do it at the end. I'm going to go around to all my panelists. I want you guys to introduce yourselves once again and let everybody know where they can find you and follow you on social media. And we are going to start with Gus.
Gustavo Victor Carr on Instagram and TikTok. See you there.
And
on YouTube and Instagram, I am the single one. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And P.O.?
Yeah, you already know what it is. You can always catch me on a rerun. Catch me on a rerun, season 5 or TL, or on Instagram at 100 sightings.
And Demita?
Thank you. I wanted to say first for having me back again. I enjoy all of you, and it's good to be up here with you, PO, and I am, and always Gus. You can find me on Instagram at by Demita Joe, and on YouTube at Miss Demita Joe.
All right. And everybody knows you can find me everywhere on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook at Miss Sabrina Soul. I am Miss Sabrina Soul. I am or was a cast member on Ready to Love episode 4. If you guys do not remember, because some people
season 4.
Season 4. I was just on one episode. I was on season 4 because a lot of people be like, why is she sitting around talking about other people? Like, who is she? Google me. So I just wanted to let everybody know that I am going to be starting a new show, which is going to be powered by The Missing Link, which is the other podcast that I do have on YouTube, where I do bridge gaps and bring people together, entrepreneurs and people that are interested and willing and wanting to start a business. And I bring those people that have started the business together. But I'm going to be doing something a little bit different this season. I am going to be starting a dating show. It is called Singles. I'm tired. It is called Single Soulmates, hosted by Miss Sabrina Soul. So any singles that are out there, soulmates that are out there, yes, Single Soulmates, yes, on YouTube, hosted by myself, coming very, very soon, very, very soon. Get ready. It's going to be aired every Tuesdays at 9 p.m. So if you are single, if you know anyone that is single, your friend single, your aunt single, your grandpa single, let them know to come on over to Single Soulmates and we're going to get them a soulmate. So I just need to know, are you ready to love? Excuse me. Are you ready for love? Are you ready for marriage? Or are you ready to play? So I just need you guys to come on over and let everybody know. Like I said, that will be starting on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. I will be dropping the date very, very soon. And I'm excited to have you guys join me on that. Listen for my radio show that I'll be on 101.1 The Fam tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And it will be a live show where I will be letting everyone know that I'm going to be dropping the show. So other than that, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, panelists. I normally don't talk that much. Thank you to everyone that's in the comments. I've been reading your comments. Some I put up, some I just did not. I couldn't put all of them up. I appreciate you guys. On the way out, if you could hit the thumbs up, I would so greatly appreciate it. And other than that, we will see you back on Friday for another live reaction watch party and on Monday for the live panel review. Anyway, love you guys. See you soon. And thank you so much to my panelists. I love you guys.
All right.
I can join
See
you.
you.
Love you back.
Take care.
Bye.